are listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Welcome back, dear gamers, to episode 79 of the Gamecasters, the show you can count on to let you down every other week. Maybe this time they'll actually cut the shit and stop talking about poop and farts, and they'll all just be nice, and, oh nope, here we go again. It hasn't been 5 seconds, and he's calling us neck-bearded, basement-dwelling fucks. But the joke's on you, because whenever there's a new episode, there you are, waiting there like starving baby birds. Well, don't worry, Daddy is here to stuff the sweet auditory nourishment down your hungry little throats to keep you full and happy for another 2 weeks. Welcome to the show. It's been a while since we've done introductions, so I figured we could all go around the table and kind of reintroduce ourselves. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with Natalie. So, if you haven't listened before, my name's Natalie, and aside from having a butt that refuses to quit, I'm willing to play any game that doesn't have miniatures and involve dice rolling combat. But if you ask me to explain a game, I'll probably just get all flustered and angry, and all 4 of my cheeks will glow red with embarrassment.
Oh my God.
I sound like Mickey Mouse.
Your butt being the other two.
I like wine and cider and making jokes that unintentionally humiliate my loved ones, especially on air. Also, I fart a lot and give great 0.0004 second back scratches. The instant you tell me it feels good, I stop. My nickname in high school was Natalie Blue Balls McScratchy. Anyway, Ryan sucks in bed.
Nice to meet you, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Well,
Hi, Natalie.
hello there, gamers, and I'm Ryan. Fart joke, poop joke, sex joke, radio voice, sex joke, laugh at Jeff, yell at Natalie, cut everyone off, fart joke, sex joke. Good night, everybody.
Welcome, Ryan.
And I'm Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, Jeff.
So now that you know everything about us, what is it about our show that will make you want to come back every episode? Why choose us over other podcasts in the gaming space? Well, we'll tell you in our first ever Podcast Essentials line. Yes, we're back with another Podcast Essentials line where we tell you a board gaming podcast to listen to that you might not have heard about. These are the best of the best gaming podcasts in our opinion. And the first one we're going to recommend is the Gamecasters. Seriously,
wow.
These guys put out so much. And then after that, they release podcasts every other week to the delight of thousands. And the reason they're so good is the drama. Will the girl call someone names? Will the mad one yell at everyone? Will the gross one shut the fuck up for once? You never know what's going to happen. And that's why I love this show. They talk about games, which is kind of adorable because they think people actually care about that. But really, I just care about hearing my name read by the mad one during the only segment of the show that keeps it going. It's like magic cards at an FLGS. I haven't quite learned their names yet, but it is seriously awesome. It's like watching a 50-car pileup every 14 days. It's just utter embarrassment and cringy drama that I can't really turn off, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yes, this is the podcast equivalent of a skeezy little reality TV show, and I eat it up like antidepressants. So take it from me, and I think I speak for most of us when I say the Gamecasters podcast is some sort of... Actually, you know what? I kind of talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I stop listening to this so much, I'd start to be happy. I'm just addicted to it now. It's like scrolling on social media. It's just something you do to pass the time, but there's no substance there. Ugh, okay, let's not do this segment ever again. No more Podcast Essentials lines. The Gamecasters ruined it for me.
Yep.
It started out very bad.
Shut it down.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, what's up with you guys?
Well, Dexter's getting good.
Oh my God, Dexter's
So-
so
Yes.
good.
We love
If you're not watching Dexter, watch it.
Today's Sunday, new episode.
Yes. Yellow Jackets is also getting good also. There's
Okay, so
some-
is that similar to Dexter where it's releasing...
Yes, it's like it's Sunday whenever. Like whenever it shows, or if you have the app, I think it just shows up Sunday at midnight or whatever.
Yeah,
so it
it's
just
on
like pops up.
Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. What did I say? Did I say Showtime?
Yeah, I don't think you said.
Whatever. The app.
But yeah.
Yeah. I texted you the other day. We're watching Seinfeld again.
Awesome.
Okay. I've seen it probably a couple times, maybe not sequentially in a long time.
Right.
But we're just starting to
Most people haven't, I think, because like when it was on TV, it was always like syndicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I watched it when it was first on, but I was really little.
Yeah, it was
You know
like
what
the
I mean?
TBS reruns that they're on all the
Yeah,
time.
right.
But it would only be like, I can only watch it for an hour. I can't watch the 6-hour stretch, so you're not getting it all at the same
True.
time. But anyway, so we're watching it straight through again. And I texted you this argument. I'm going to reiterate it. I believe that George Costanza having any intimate relationships with any women on that show is maybe one of the most unrealistic things that have ever happened on television.
100% I agree. I went even a little further, and I was like, I think same with Jerry. And then you made the argument, which is a good one, that well, at least Jerry is like a comedian.
Yeah,
he's like in the show business,
pseudo famous,
but he's still ridiculously unattractive.
Yes, but he's also like, again, not.
He's dating Courtney Cox in some
coming
episodes,
from the short person. I believe I am taller than George Costanza.
100%.
Yeah.
So Jerry is like
He comes up to your
taller than
nipples.
him. It's also like George is not a good looking, but
like balding.
Jerry's not good looking. But
Right.
yeah, he has probably a little bit of money. He has his own place, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
humor goes a long way with some
Yeah.
some people.
You're right. The character George is one of the funniest characters in anything ever. But in the show, he's supposed
If
to be
he
just
was
a
a
bumbling
real
moron.
human,
isn't
if he was a
supposed to be
real
funny,
person,
yeah.
there is no way people would be like, I want to date George Costanza.
I feel like it's like that on so many shows where they like every Adam Sandler movie, he's married to the most beautiful
Yeah.
woman on earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, come
always
on, man.
like
But at least I can
Like,
fall back
come
on like
on.
Adam Sandler's funnier in that movie.
Or
Yeah.
Like
what's that
Kramer
one?
is tall. He's kind of like charismatic. I get again why these.
Yeah.
Elaine, good looking.
Elaine is super hot.
So
Elaine's super hot
I
now.
get it. But George is like, how does he have anyone ever? He's like selfish, self-centered. He's balding at like the age
he's very
of
stocky.
16 because they're only supposed to be like 30 in the show or
Yeah.
something, or
Yeah.
29, which is
Yeah,
absurd.
they're in like their early 30s.
He for the most of the season he has no job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What's the redeeming
He's
about
cheap.
him?
It's like all of these things that are just
he's
like
just off-
such
off-putting.
terrible qualities that I don't know how anybody would want
He's got
to
a
like,
king size dong.
be in a relationship with him. I don't know. He was in the pool.
Yeah.
I was in the pool.
It shies away like a frightened turtle. I honestly think that about all of them, but your argument does make a stronger case for George
Being the most
specifically
unrealistic.
being the most
Yeah.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I used to talk about it all the time. Like, okay, all these, like the women
Yeah.
on Seinfeld are all incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, remember the episode where George dates that one girl from the camera store or like the photo
Yes.
shop?
Yep.
She might be the hottest girl he gets. And it's like, why does she like him in
Yeah.
any way?
Susan isn't.
That's true. That's true. Susan is one that's maybe not
Susan's still a
super
successful
attractive.
woman.
Yeah,
that
she's
can,
very
she works
high
for
up
NBC.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
So you've been going through that.
yeah, going through that, watching some shows. We're trying to finish like Dope Sick, so then we can maybe start Billions. We talked about it last
Ooh,
night.
yeah.
Yes,
Sorry.
please start
That-
Billions. I would love to talk with you about that.
And that's kind of been it.
Yeah.
With TV, I guess. Survivor's on. It's our reality kick, so we're watching Survivor.
I can't believe that show's still on.
I know.
I
It just
know.
keeps going and going and going.
That's incredibly
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's on
Bachelor.
twice a year. It's like season 40 something. So it's on 2 times a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
the
almost
best.
it has almost now caught up to Sesame Street
Yeah. In season number.
in season
yeah.
number. Yeah, in
Yeah,
season
not
number.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you guys been doing?
Let's
I have an
see.
announcement to make.
Oh,
I
okay.
finally got Ryan to start watching Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, I'm watching Schitt's
Ooh.
Creek.
From the beginning.
Yep.
Yep.
From the
How
beginning.
many?
We're
how
still in
long are
season
you?
1.
We're on like episode
Okay.
10
Okay.
ish, 10
Are
or
you
11.
enjoying it?
It's okay.
How long did it take you to think it was okay?
Episode 1.
Okay.
Yeah. After the
Seriously,
first
You're still
episode-
in the same boat if it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, it hasn't
After the
gone up
first
a ton
episode,
yet.
He was like, okay.
But I'm not actively trying to. I'm not rooting against
No,
it.
no, no.
Like
Yeah.
I went into it like, okay, everyone seems to love this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to give
and
it a shot.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you this: when I started watching it, it took me a little bit. It took me longer than where we've been now to like think it's
Really like it?
hilarious. Yeah, because I liked it. Like you, I was like, this is pretty good. And I was even at a point where I was like, am I going to continue watching this or should I just stop? And then I continued, and then felt like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I was like cracking up.
Really?
Yeah, it was just almost like you had to like understand the characters. You had to like get to know them, and then suddenly it's like
It all
It like
clicks?
clicks for some reason.
What about for you? When did you start in like loving it?
It took a season. I don't know. So I still don't put it in my like category.
Oh, so you
I
don't
just wrote
love
them
it.
down.
Okay.
I still have like 30 Rock, The Office,
Oh yeah,
Parks
I
and Rec,
wouldn't put
Arrested
it in like
Development
the
above those
top.
for sure.
But it is really good.
But there's a lot of relatable characters and relatable storylines, and there's a little more like emotion sort of in some of this, where you like feel connected to a
Yeah.
character more than you would. That
must have to
in
happen
The Office.
later?
It happens later.
Okay,
In the
'cause I was
first
like-
because
season-
again, in the first season, this thing is happening to them, and they're these very rich people who lost all their money, and then they're like very judgmental, and they're not really likable at first, I think, and relatable. And so as the time goes on and they're in this town, that kind of starts to change, and they start to like soften, and then
Also, how do you own a town? Like, what do they? So they own this town, Schitt's Creek. What does that entitle them
I don't know
to?
if they bought the entire land. That
Yeah, like, is it the
sitting on.
land that they
Because
own?
he says he has the deed, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's confusing.
Yeah,
That's
I always
that's like too
I'm
much money,
confused about
people.
that.
I don't even know.
Yeah, like what? You
Like, I
own
don't-
this
I don't
town.
even
like,
own my own
okay,
house.
so
So,
does
like-
he have jurisdiction over things?
The
Can he,
bank
like-
still owns my house, so I don't really know how that stuff
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But so he doesn't have any power, does he? Over
No, because he's
things?
not like the mayor or anything.
Yeah, like
Right.
does he hold anything over the mayor? Like he just owns the land or
I think
something?
It's probably
Because the one thing I would say so far is I feel like it's very unrelatable so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like
But
I
we're
don't
not very
identify with
far
the rich
into it.
people,
Yeah.
and I don't identify really with like the
The
yokels who
townies,
live
yeah.
in there. You know,
Yeah.
Yet,
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change.
Yeah.
I think it will change. And like Jeff said, it's not like, top tier TV shows, but it's
It is for
definitely
some people.
it
yeah.
is for some
But it's
people.
definitely-
Love this
not
show.
I feel
mine,
like it's
but-
very universally liked.
Yeah.
Isn't it one of your favorites, Natalie?
I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I really enjoyed it.
It was. I would say it took me a season to get into it, and then
Yeah.
we're kind of watching it like while we play games in the background.
Yeah.
It will eventually kind of end up being a show like that, where like we're watching 30 Rock one night in the background of stuff,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get me rolling on the ground laughing like some of like 30 Rock. Some of these comments just like I have to pause it because I'm laughing so hard.
right.
Yeah.
But it's. I think Eugene Levy is hilarious.
I do too.
Yeah, I
Just
think
he
he's
has like
fun.
great delivery.
His son is my favorite character.
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
far.
his son is
my
awesome.
favorite.
Is that David.
Yeah.
The Eugene Levy's daughter is
Twyla.
Twyla,
Yeah.
which is also kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like a whole family.
Yeah, but it's
thing.
weird that she doesn't play the daughter.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
kind
It's
of
just
funny.
I liked it because it felt heartwarming toward the end, and
It
like,
did.
you started
there
relating
was
to
a
people. And
couple
you're like, okay,
episodes
this is
later
nice.
on that I actually cried in, and like, and then me and Ryan talked about this too. One of the best things about the show is that like David, the character, is gay in it, and nobody. It's not like a big thing. It's not like something he has to overcome.
Yeah.
That was that's
It's
the
not
one
like-
thing I
it's
love
just
so far.
Totally
Yeah.
normal. Everybody's like
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that. That's not a focus because
Right,
like
it's not a
every
focus.
other,
Like,
because it
everyone
has
knows
been.
he is, but at the same time, it's not like a thing.
Yeah, it
It's
seems
just
like
normal.
progression.
Yeah,
in the world
and
of
I
television.
Think, and they even said, because I've watched some like, behind the scenes stuff where they like interview them and stuff, and they wanted it to be a show like that.
yeah,
you
that's
know?
cool.
Yeah, it's
so
good.
I like it.
Yeah.
it's a good show. Is that all that we've been watching? Is Schitt's Creek and Dexter? I guess I'm so.
Dexter.
Oh God, I love Dexter so far.
Yeah.
Well, we just finished right before Schitt's Creek. We just finished going through Parks and Rec again. We were watching that, but yeah, we're not really watching
show's good.
anything else. Besides
I know. I
that
wonder if there's
stuff.
like a little lull. Like I don't know what HBO's trying. Like I'm waiting for an HBO series that I. Sometimes they
Yeah.
put these one-offs.
Well, like
that are
the
really
Wheel
good.
of Time came out. No, that's not HBO.
Oh, yeah,
but
Wheel-
that
I
came
watched
out. I know. So okay,
I don't know much
we've talked
about
to
that.
two different people. So Ben Kennard
from Date Night Dice.
from the Date Night Dice podcast has read all of the Wheel of Time series,
Okay.
and so I think he's been pretty frustrated with the show, which
Because
is
he's comparing
these
it to a
book
movie
not
that he
people,
likes.
which is
Now
not
settle down.
well. I mean, I can understand.
Yeah,
you know,
but-
I can understand. But so
It is an adaptation. It's not supposed to be in a.
So I think he's he's now tempered his expectations a little bit, but I think he's been frustrated, right? I think Emily's read the books too, actually. So I think they're both going through it and stuff like that. But then we just talked to
Chris.
yeah, but Chris isn't
his
watching the
dad.
show, right?
No, he said it. He was telling us about his dad. His dad read the books and watched the show.
Oh, right, and his dad likes the show.
Yeah.
like the show,
Like the
the
show.
show. His dad likes
right.
the show and has read the books. So I'm kind of hoping that it's like Game of Thrones, where we can go in not knowing anything
Yeah, 'cause I
and
don't
just
know
like
anything.
I know
I
nothing.
feel like
Me
Ben and
neither. I
Emily
know-
said
I know
that. Like if
nothing.
you didn't read the books, you might even like it.
This is exactly
Better.
why I don't read books. Is because
You don't
Well,
want to be
this
let
is
down.
why
I don't
by the-
want to just be
by the
let down because
TV
all
movie.
these book reading nerds are always so let down when the show comes out. They're like, "Oh, the book was better." The book is always fucking better.
Yeah,
we
it's always
know
better.
Every time.
The book is always
because
better.
it has way more detail and way more explanation, and it's just
So that's why I don't read books.
Right.
Because I don't want to be let down by TV shows and movies.
Plus, they don't really put pictures in novels anymore, so it's not like you see.
I know it's not
boobs
even
and
like,
vaginas.
but like all the books are
my
just like,
but you
words.
can do that on TV.
Yeah, all
I
these
can
books
see
are
boobs
just
there.
there's words.
Yeah, why would I
There's like
read about a
page
boob
after
when I can
page
go on a
after
video
Can I
page
talk
and
about
see
the
a
books
boob?
that I'm reading?
Yes.
I'm reading the Testaments, which is the follow-up
the New
book.
Testaments or the Old Testaments.
It's the follow-up to the Handmaid's Tale book.
Oh,
And it's like
gross.
15 years
Speaking of why I don't read
later,
books.
and it's about Aunt Lydia, Agnes, and Nicole, which are
Characters in the show now.
June's two daughters.
Oh, Agnes and Nicole.
But they're like teenagers.
Maybe that's
now.
where the show will go.
That's what I'm wondering.
knows?
I kind of hope they do something different with the show.
And it's all about
Like the
them,
show.
like where they are now and like stuff happening to them.
That's cool.
And I'm like really into it. I'm like
That's
flying
sweet.
through it.
Look at you reading
It's
books.
good.
Yeah,
proud of
she just reads books like
I've
crazy.
read books
Damn.
since
What do you do while she's
I
reading
started
books?
reading.
I usually masturbate, but sometimes if
What do you do
I'm
for the
out
other
of
like
juice,
couple hours?
You watch
or
it?
yeah, with
Chess.
the other
That's only like a
23 and a half
minute,
hours,
right?
I've been watching chess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the World Championships of chess
You
are
don't
on
do
right
that
now.
at the same time.
Very rarely.
Okay, it just
Very
depends on the
rarely.
move that was made.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. If Knight goes to B3.
Knight to B3.
Oh my god!
Oh boy.
If there's a checkmate, I'm mating my hand.
Oh.
So,
Yuck.
yeah, the World Chess Championships are on right now to determine the World Chess Champion.
Oh, okay.
Really?
And there's
Interesting.
7. They're playing the 8th game right now. So they play 14, I think, classical games, which is like hours and hours and hours long. And then if they're tied at that point, which often they are, then they go to like a shorter format, like a blitz format where it's like 10-minute games. And then if they're still tied, then they go to even shorter games.
So Magnus Carlsen's going to win?
He's winning right now. He's up one game. So they've played 7 so far. The first 5 were draws. So they each get a half point for that.
What'd they draw?
Penises.
Okay, of course.
And then the 6th game, Magnus won.
Okay.
7th game they drew, and they're on the 8th game today.
So if it's a draw or a
it's a-
Magnus win, it's over and you can just...
If it's a draw
Go to
or a
town on
Magnus
yourself.
win, Magnus is just up. So they play 14.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like it's always seems
Yeah.
like it's something like that, but then there's always more.
There's always
And
more
it also
chess.
seems like
Always
there's a
more
world
chess.
championship like every 2 months.
No!
That's what it
The
feels
World
like.
Championship is like once every
Well, there's
like
World
4
Championship.
years.
There's the Magnus Carlsen World
Right.
Championship. There's the Magnus
I-
Championship.
yeah. There
are
The
lots of
Carlsen
tournaments.
Championship.
That's for
I also
sure.
feel like
There are
you've
lots
told me
of
this
tournaments.
before because you've said like,
I just like telling you that Magnus
there's,
wins because
like,
you
this-
hate him so
I know.
much.
Well,
for
you're
no
like, there's
reason.
this championship and this and this and this is happening. I'm like you said, like, oh, so if this happens, then Magnus wins. Well, no, because then this person has to play.
No,
this,
then they have to
then he has
arm
to
wrestle.
play 15 more times, and then he has to play against this person 12 times, and it's like it goes on for like 4 months.
Make fun of it some more. It's
Like
funny.
it's just,
There was this
so
chess boxing
confusing.
match. Do you remember that? I feel like it was like Lennox Lewis or someone who was like a boxer was also
No,
like
they
an incredible
played chess?
player. Yeah, and they created
What?
it was like this goofy. It was some offshoot. It wasn't like a real thing, right? But they did this event where they would play chess for like 3 moves each, and then they would box around. And then they would play chess
I
for 3
gotta
moves
see
each, and then
this.
they would
This
box
is
around.
great.
So you either won by checkmate in chess or knocking
Or
out the
knocking
person.
the person out. Can you punch them while they're making
I
a
would
move?
watch that
I
all
feel
day.
That sounds fucking
I would
awesome.
watch that.
You watch their chess game like get worse and worse as like they get punched in the head more and more.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah. It's
Oh,
something-
blunder.
Brain
It's
doesn't
something
work.
crazy like
Nose
that.
is like pouring
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Oh, I committed a big blunder there. Shouldn't have moved pawn to H3. So you guys know about the show The Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a board game now called The Queen's Gambit, the board game.
Is it called
Doesn't
chess?
that just seem like it's just
it
chess?
chess?
No, it's not
You'd
just
think
chess.
so.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know.
Who did that?
I don't. I know,
did
is that
this?
stupid? Yeah, The Queen's Gambit, Das Damen Gambit.
Damn it.
Is what's her face on the cover?
Yeah. Yeah, the what's her face girl?
Yeah.
What is her name?
In real life or in
Queen.
the show?
It's Beth Harmon in the show,
Queen.
but yeah, she's the queen, and this is
Yeah.
her gambit.
It's
You
her
watch? Did
gambit.
you watch it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Everybody
But isn't that
watched
funny? Once all the chess tiles have been captured, the game ends, and whoever has collected the most
That
tiles
is-
wins.
What?
It's like a tile.
Nope.
The Queen's Gambit board game is not just chess.
It should just be
what a
chess.
marketing scheme that would
Yeah.
be.
They're like, here's a game.
Based on this
No,
show,
here's a
about this
show.
game we made
Yeah.
up in the
Yeah.
show.
Right. Here's a show based on a game, but we're going to make a game about it, but it's not going to be the game in the
It's
show.
not going to be the game of the show.
a
It's going to be a
different
game based on the show, which is
That's
based on
just-
a game.
Who
Pass.
thought of that?
Hard
And
pass.
who's produced that?
Well, I could tell you. Who thought of it was designer Rebecca Blau and Nicholas Kravolta.
Come on, guys.
Artist, N.A.
Ooh,
And
nah.
Publisher,
Not applicable.
Asmodee Korea.
There's no
Popcorn
art.
Games. Mixlr. You know Mixlr?
Have
or
these
Popcorn
designers
Games?
designed
NA
anything
means-
else?
Let's check.
No
Rebecca
art.
Blau has also designed Escape the Room games, a game called Woolly Whammoth,
Woolly Whammoth.
Woolly Whammoth.
All right, Woolly Whammoth.
a game called Showdown and Crosswise, 17 games. So she actually does have some designs under her belt.
And now-
Gloomhaven. Have you heard of that one? Just kidding. She's not. I've not heard of any of these, but I am interested now in Woolly
And now got
Whammoth.
the Queen's Gambit.
And now she has the
IP.
Queen's Gambit, the board game, which is not
Yeah.
chess.
silly.
Speaking of games, we've actually played a game or two.
No way.
Can you believe it?
I don't believe
Just
it.
barely.
Barely.
Barely
We
played
barely played it.
Oh boy. Guess we gotta keep this stupid podcast
basically,
running.
well, I was masturbating and playing chess at the same time, and so
Yeah. I
yeah,
was
we
reading my
basically
book.
played.
that was a game in itself.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I have to apologize a little bit in advance for the extended length of time it's going to take me to talk about before I get to talking about this game. So I have some preamble to get through. Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted to play Obsession
What do you want us
for
to do
years
while we-
now. You can you actually do like a Broadway, like a vaudeville act in the
Do
background?
you want us to do any like music?
Broadway?
Like,
jazz hand, like do jazz hands, but bam, 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 down in Carolina. Obsession.
even
I
see
waffle
us.
back and forth on this. Oh, and then it was like and went out of stock. Okay. So I wanted to play Obsession for years. This game came out back in like 2018.
Dare
I
to say,
think.
were you obsessed?
Oh man, I actually have some jokes about that. That's okay.
Cut that out.
I waffled back and forth on it. And then it was too late when I was stock, of course, as it does.
Of course.
It's kind of like when all the women don't give a shit about you until you have a girlfriend.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I don't understand that, but this game was like all of a sudden talked about so much more often
Figure
when
it
it
out,
went out
women.
of stock. Yeah, what the hell, women?
Did that happen to you in real life?
It's happened to every man, I
Yeah.
think, in the world. You're going on around, you're like, God, I can't get a girlfriend. And then you finally get a girlfriend. And right when you get a girlfriend, 3 people
Oh,
call you
8
and they're like,
people like
hey, by
you,
the way, you
and-
want to
yeah.
fuck tonight? And it's like, yeah, shit. Can't do it now.
Doesn't happen to
you?
Nope.
Has that ever happened to you, Natalie?
Nope. No one's ever called me and said that. Unfortunately.
Anyway, this game was all of a sudden-
Unfortunately.
this game was damn. Here she's doing it again. I unintentionally insult everybody I love.
It is unintentional.
You're short. I don't mean to be with you. Rather fuck someone else.
I meant both for you.
So, all of a sudden, this game was talked about like crazy when it was out of stock. More often than our podcast in my bathroom while I'm tooing, and everyone seems to love it.
Doing?
You're like going to. Like numbers, you're like pooping. Doing. I got
It's a
it.
poop joke.
Yeah.
They can't get enough of Obsession.
intro was
They're
right.
addicted to it. They have a compulsion, a need, a preoccupation. I cannot quite find the word to express how infatuated they were over this game. There has to be a word to say what these people were. That was the joke.
Damn.
They can't get enough of this game. Anyway, my desire to own it just grew and grew like my peninsula of masculinity when Natalie bends over to pick up something that I dropped specifically so she'd bend over to pick it up. Well, finally, after what felt like a lifetime of pining over it, Amanda the Main Street Meeple clued me into its re-release. I pre-ordered it and it came like me when I'm allowed sex on my birthday.
Oh my
well,
God.
I decided that I was going to play it this past weekend, and I ripped open the shrink like a Jedi Gym gamer and opened everything up and looked at it and was maybe more confused than I've ever been. I had no idea how to organize this. Have you ever opened a game and you're like kind of take it all out and you're just like,
Yep.
what?
You're like, ooh, oops.
Now what?
Yeah, I should have thought about this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, what do I do now?
Sometimes I've just put him back in and then put the game back on the shelf.
I'm just like,
Where
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I'm out of.
I'll do this another time.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing that.
I had the rule book doesn't tell you how to organize it because it comes with all these little boxes and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no.
Yeah, you
it doesn't
open it
tell
and it's
you.
just a bunch of tiny
It's just a bunch of
fit
boxes
perfectly in there.
Yeah. So I'm like, what do I do? So I immediately go to the 2 people who I've heard talk more about this game than anyone else. I message Amanda from Main Street Meeple and Bailey from Spooky Gems. I entitled the IG conversation, "Help me," in like all caps. And I take a picture of the cacophony of cardboard on my table and ask for them to tell me how on earth to put this damn thing away. Bailey responds instantly, proving herself the better of the 2 for the moment. They didn't know they were being ranked at the time. And is basically like, bro, I just smush everything down in the boxes and hope nothing breaks. It was really funny. She's really funny. So Amanda finally joins in the conversation after doing God knows what to Wally in their bedroom. And we start talking about the game. And that naturally leads us to making some dumb joke about having a separate podcast about yoga and bagels that I call Creamy Squeeze, which Amanda then Googles and finds pictures of sour cream in squeeze bottles, which I had in my fridge. So now we're trying
What
to
is
explain to Bailey why squeeze sour cream is so much better. And I tell her it's because of the little sphincter spout that the bottle has. She takes a break to vomit and then asks follow-up questions. And if you've ever had squeeze sour cream,
totally is like a
you know
sphincter.
how awesome it is because in normal sour cream, you like spoon it out onto the plate. But the sour cream like sticks to the spoon and you end up with layers like of it still on the spoon. You either have to like stick your finger
Doesn't
disgustingly on it
evenly
and
distribute.
like rest it on your plate, or you just are wasting it. Also, it sticks to the spoon sometimes. So when you're putting it onto the plate, you kind of have to give it a flick of the wrist, Wingardium Leviosa, and then that plops down and splashes sour cream everywhere. I feel like I'm doing an infomercial right now, but the squeeze bottle sour cream gets around all of this by introducing the sphincter. So basically, you can squeeze sour cream out onto your plate, and the sphincter cuts it off in the exact same way as when you're twoing, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, think of
sphincter's
twoing,
for.
and you cinch it off for a minute.
That is probably the best thing
Way to describe it. Yeah, right? So that's exactly what you're doing with the sour cream. And Amanda agreed completely, and Bailey left the chat and deleted Instagram. And cease and desist
So
showed
I
up at
haven't
mine and
seen
Amanda's
her
house the next morning. So after that incredibly long conversation that also discussed spray butter and the vaccine, we learned a little something about our dear friend Bailey's spooky gems that I have been given authority to tell.
Okay.
So Amanda was basically like, okay, you now think we're weird because we've been talking about this sour cream thing. What are your flaws? And she responds instantly, Bailey does, and says, I steal lemons from Sam's Club.
What?
What?
I never, then she writes, I, period, never, period, pay, period, for, period, lemons, period.
What?
It's a dumb fruit and I refuse to pay for them, but they are necessary for cooking, so I still need them from time to time.
What?
And so she just
She says, I go to
They
the
come in like a
bag.
bag?
Yeah. She goes, I go to the store, and when I'm shopping, I just put a bag of lemons in my cart and go to the U-Scan and just don't scan them. We were both like, what? Why? And she's like, I'm universally well-known and respected lemon thief. For over a decade, no lemon farmer has received a dime from me. She's actually saying
what?
this. It's so funny.
God.
I was laughing so hard. Amanda was like, you steal an entire bag of
Right, 'cause
lemons?
Sam's Club, you can't just take one lemon.
Yeah, she's like, what the hell do you do with the entire bag? And Bailey responded, well, Diet Coke and lemon. And Amanda's like, isn't that just one lemon slice? And she's like, eventually she's like, okay, fine. I end up throwing most of the bag out.
Well, I mean, it's free, so what does she care?
And Amanda and I laughed forever about that. So this was a pretty epic conversation that I owe completely to the game Obsession.
Oh my God.
So the other night, I begged Amanda to teach me. And we got to hang out on Discord while she taught me the game. And it was cool hanging out with her and Wally and the kids and seeing their house, which is really nice, learning the game. It was really fun, and she did a great job. And I thank you very, very much, Amanda, for doing that. Unfortunately, that's where the good things stop, because this game is awful. It sucks so bad. I'm kidding. Here's how it plays.
Okay.
Basically, you're in this like Victorian time period where everyone is just trying to fuck everyone else. That's true.
Cool.
It's like people host these events specifically to find someone to bang and marry.
Those are called orgies.
Which I guess is the premise of the show Downton Abbey or Bridgerton. Yeah, they're just fucking orgies.
It's an orgy.
It's an orgy. But I don't actually know if Bridgerton and Downton Abbey are this exact theme, but I think it's pretty close. Amanda just told me everyone's horny and can't get enough sex, so they're hosting parties to make it happen. Now, this game is nothing like I've ever played before. You start the game with tiles in 5 different colors attached to your player board. And throughout the game, you're going to be adding more. And the tiles are these events that you're hosting to attract hot young singles. On your turn, you pick one event tile that you have in front of you and you host a party.
And boy, are they good looking.
Oh my goodness. They're all like...
And they're local, and they're near you.
Oh, man, that's good stuff. Okay, so you basically have to pay the requirements of the tile, which might be playing hot young singles cards, or employ the butler to work there, and you must have the required amount of reputation in order to invite these people and host the party. Nobody wants to fuck at a loser's yokel party. After you've paid your cost to host the event, you get benefits, like money or reputation, and then you bring the tile you played back to your tableau. Only now you flip it over, kind of like in Keyflower. And the other side of the tile gives you points and maybe does something cooler than it did on the first side, right? Which, again, Keyflower is the main game I can think of that does this similar thing. When you basically complete the requirements on the front side, you flip it over, it gives you victory points, and usually does something stronger.
Upgrade, yeah, cool.
And this is where a large portion of your points in the game are found, on these tiles that you put in your tableau. Afterwards, you get to buy another tile from the market, and the market is kind of like the market in Suburbia. You played Suburbia, Jeff?
A while ago.
Okay, so basically everything is there's like a string, like a line, and they're all priced from low to high. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the tiles themselves might have additional costs that you pay. So at the end of your turn, you can basically pay that to bring another tile into your tableau. Okay, now turns in this game are toit. In the normal game, there are only 16 rounds, but 4 of those rounds, you're not really performing actions. So you really only get 12 turns the entire game, but a couple of those you're passing and doing nothing. So really you're only taking like 10 turns the entire game, which is one of the most toit games there are. I'm stressed just thinking about it. At the end of the game, you get points for tiles and cards in your hand and some other things, but the game is pretty quick once you get going. So here's what I liked. This game is awesome. I am so pleased with this game. It's unlike anything I've ever played before. There's that like little keyflower mechanism. There's that like suburbia thing. Other than that, the game is, you've not played anything like this, I don't think.
Did you mention that we played with everything?
I didn't. We played this game. So first of all, we only played it once. So this is like a first play kind of like feel it out kind of game. We played with every there's this upstairs, downstairs, Wednesday, Tuesday expansion that is out for it. We just added that in, and I would never play without it. It's one of those awesome expansions. I will get to that, Natalie. But yeah, there's a bunch of other things that I pre-ordered, and we just threw it all in.
I just wanted everyone to know, like, we didn't just play like the base game. We played like,
we're real gamers. We didn't just play with that piddly ass base game.
Yeah, baby's first obsession.
Baby's first obsession. So it's okay. So you pick a tile to play, and then you put a meeple that it asks for on the tile to play it. And then you usually have to play cards from your hand, which is a really strange dichotomy because you're like paying the cards to play the tile, but the cards just give you awesome stuff. So it's like you want to pay the cards. And so it's like you get to play the cards, yay, but you're still spending the cards. So boo. But sometimes the cards get you more cards. So yay again. But sometimes the cards are bad and give you negative points. So boo. I don't know. I really liked the objective cards. There's these objective cards you get at the beginning of the game and how they sort of give you a strategy to shoot for while still allowing plenty of space for you to do whatever you want. Some games have these objective cards where if you ignore them and your opponent doesn't, you're screwed. You lose automatically. You know, some games like that. So you have to kind of like do what your card's telling you to do. In this game, you don't feel like, oh shit, if you don't get one of the cards and you're lost. It's just like a handful of points. I mean, if you get them all accomplished and your opponent gets none, it's going to be, it's going to be harder for your opponent. But if you get like one of them and your opponent gets all three, you still should be in the game. And I just like games that give you a bit of direction while still allowing you the space to do whatever the hell you want to. Managing the servants was cool. The servants are these little meeples that you're putting onto your tiles to play them. That was really cool. And it should be noted, and this is what Natalie was just saying. We played with the upstairs, downstairs, Wednesday, Tuesday expansion, which adds 4 different types of servants that we will always play with. And it's so simple to add them in and really just makes the game better as you just now have more ways to accomplish your plans. The game has some attacky things in it, but we just opted to not play that way as we never get in each other's way so much that it was necessary to do. God, this game is so fun, dude. This game's really good.
Could you like just spend time ruining each other's game?
No. So
it's
there
not
are
to that level.
I mean, there's little things that you could do to like.
But you have to spend you have to do a certain action that doesn't really get you anything other than you could like steal some things from your opponent.
Okay.
And talking with Amanda, she said that happens. They do it to each other once in a while, but it's not like fuck you. It's more like I really need that to help me, and then they take it, and it doesn't devastate you. If you get like one guy taken from you, you usually have like 13 or 14.
There was like one,
so it's not
one
huge
of the
deal.
cards, the people cards that I had. That was like a bad one that gave you negative points, and then like the only benefit was to like attack the other person, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that. Like it'd be different if like I got $500 and you have to attack this person.
Right.
I'd be like, okay, maybe, but just to do that by itself, why would I play that?
So we might even just take those cards and tiles out of the game. They're cards out of the game because we just don't think we're gonna play that. But I did that thing, dude, where I periodically throughout the game, I'm like, ooh, I really like this. Yeah, when I catch myself saying that, that's how I know that, ooh, I really like this. You know what I mean? There was a lot of turns that were incredibly satisfying. When you play like a 4-point tile that lets you play 6 or 7 cards, and you get to complete this just giant windfall of money and stuff that you can then use to buy more stuff to get more points, it's bliss. And this happens multiple times in the game and really just gives you these satisfying moments that I crave in these types of games. There are so many different tiles and cards that you just feel like you'll never see it all. And that's wonderful. It's very replayable. Okay, so things I don't like that much. The game's pretty damn ugly. It's not as ugly when you're playing it for some reason, but it just doesn't seem... why did they pick the colors they picked is kind of one of those, kind of things.
Like supposed to be like Victorian age.
Yeah,
muted.
And maybe that is. Maybe that's how it is. But the graphic design is also like really just unattractive. It's just pretty fucking ugly. The colors are, like I said, like kind of bland and blah. They just really do nothing for you. It feels like a high quality game though, with artwork from like an amateur, which I think is what it is because the designer Dan Halligan, who I think this is his only design, he also did the artwork. And I'm guessing the graphic design. He probably just did all of it. And I'm sure he doesn't have like the money to hire like a Vincent Dutrait or something like that. But it definitely shows, to be honest with you. I also don't really care for the theme. It does nothing for me. But that said, the theme, while boring to me, was very well integrated.
Yes.
Like very well done. I was like, talking like a Victorian dignitary every time I play my cards, which was really funny. And I
Oh
think,
my god, I was dying.
yeah, I think with some better artwork, the game would be elevated like so much more, as it would look as good as it feels. It's that Castles of Burgundy phenomenon.
Sure.
The component quality is there, though. Like the tiles are really nice and thick. You know, it's really a nice production. It's really just the artwork and the color palette that needs some help. Other than that, I don't really have much negative to say about this game.
Wow.
It's hard to find something that I like actively dislike. I guess you could say the randomness is there. Okay, so there's like you'd randomly draw tiles from a bag. You're randomly taking cards from a deck, but none of the cards are so wildly swingy that you're going to get completely screwed over. You know what I mean? Like if you need money, some cards give you money, and if you happen to draw like 5 or 6 cards in a row that didn't have any money on them, that could be a bummer. But that just doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen. The game just feels really good to play. It's so simple when you learn the rules, and everything just feels easy. I don't know. What do you think, Natalie?
Yeah, I loved this game. Okay. The look doesn't really bother me that much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really mind it.
Let me tell you this. I was struggling to come up with something negative to say.
Really? Yeah. I guess, I have like a couple things, but they're like really nitpicky because overall I really liked this game and it's probably one of my favorite games that we've played in a while, like new games that we played.
Wow.
It's
getting real.
I know.
Yeah.
It was our first game, and some of our turns, while you only have like 16 turns, really kind of more like 12.
Yeah, basically 10 because
yeah.
you're passing.
What about
couple
8?
times. Like 6,
Yeah.
only like 4 turns.
It's like one turn.
Yeah, it's like you don't even
literally
play.
like
The game
one turn.
plays you.
Yeah. But it was a learning game, so it took us a while on some of our turns just because there was a lot of decisions to be made.
To grok, would you say?
So it
Scope.
probably took us like 3
One
hours to play it, which was way too long. And I think that we could definitely get it down from that the more we play.
Totally.
But having said that, even though it
how
took
long did you say? What did you say?
3 hours.
It was a long. It was a long play.
For that's from rules.
Yes,
So like
that's
45
including.
minutes
It's
of
including
into-
rules.
okay.
Yeah, it's including
Yeah.
rules.
But
Although the rules didn't take that terribly long time to explain.
they didn't. Okay. I'd say like if we could get it down to like an hour and a half, it would be like amazing.
Hot damn, that's
Yeah.
cut in half. Do
We-
you think you could do that?
No,
I do.
we
do.
took like there was turns where I was just like looking, I'm like, oh, and I was like, no, I can't do that, and I put it back, and I'm like, what should I do?
But it's one of those games, dude, where there's like a million different things that you've never seen before.
That's true.
You know, and so
Now
it's
that
like,
you've
oh
seen
God,
stuff-
how like this tile's brand new to me.
Right.
This tile's brand new. Like, so you have to like take a
Exactly.
while to figure out where once you play it more
sense.
often, you're gonna learn that stuff.
Yeah,
and it's gonna
good point.
significantly
Where you're like
back
turning it
down.
over,
You have a
and like
plan.
I'm like,
Sure.
okay, if I do this and this, and it just took a long time to do a lot of the things, but it didn't feel to me like it was like taking forever. Like it flew by because I was very
Agreed.
into it. But yeah, I mean, what I loved most about the game is I loved that the decisions you had to make on your turns, like it wasn't so straightforward, and it was like in that way that I love, where like you have to decide first of all like what tile to play, what activity tile to play, but then on top of that you have to make sure that you have the right servants to be able to play that, and then is that tile gonna give you what you want, depending on your objective or your goals. If you need money or if you need reputation or whatever, do you even have enough reputation to play that one? And then on top of that, you have to decide what people you want to play with that. And then, so you're taking time deciding which one of those, depending on what they give you and do they follow the rules of what, and there's it's kind of complicated, just even though there's not that many turns, it's complicated to play one turn because you have all of these things going into that decision of what you're going to play. And it sounds like a lot, but it was so fun to me, like just figuring that out.
Well, it wasn't like super heavy. Like
No,
it
it
sounds
didn't
like
feel
it
like-
might be super heavy and complex. It's not.
It's not. When I
it's
say
about the Castle
complicated, I
Burgundy
just mean
weight.
like there's a lot going on. But you're right. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's more just like what should I do?
Which
It's
one's
more like
better?
the decision is hard. You
Yeah.
know, like. And there's definitely times, especially in this our first play, but where there's times where like I got this plan, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, I don't have enough green guys. Oh wait,
Gringos.
The white
Gringos.
guys can take place of green guys. Oh, no, but I still don't have enough of those. Oh, I can't do that. Now I got to switch it up, and there was like a lot of things like that happened. But it was still just fun, like figuring it out. And it was, I had a blast. And even just the different types of servants, you definitely have to pay attention to them because once you use them, you can't use them the next turn until they get back into like the available servant quarters. There's a bunch of different tiles. There's like so many different like options there.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be the same game twice for a long
even
time.
Just passing is like a big decision and kind of cool because like, you have to, like you said, you don't have a lot of turns, so you have to like pass at the right time that makes the most sense.
Yes.
But at the same time, passing isn't bad. Like there's only like one thing you really miss out on because for the most part, you still get to do a lot of the stuff that you would normally do in a turn.
You don't get an opportunity to play cards when you pass,
but
which
you
is a
get
big
all your
windfall.
cards back
I
in
like
your hand.
when passing isn't just
pass.
which is
Yeah,
just
it's not like you lose a
skipping your
turn. It's just more like you don't get an optimal turn.
There's a passing flow chart.
Yeah, there
That
is.
tells you what you do. It's basically just steps. They call it a flow chart in the game.
Like when you pass, you do this and then
But
this
it's
and then
cool.
this, yeah.
You because it's one of those games where like Kemet when you're it's not like Kemet at all. It's one of those games like Kemet though when you play the combat card you lose it, right? And then later everyone kind of knows like what you have in your hand and then you can do an action to pick them all up.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So this game has that where you have a hand of cards and you can get more, but you're playing when you play them, sometimes you play 6 at once and that empties your hand. And now they're all in a discard pile. And you'll sometimes draw a couple more, but you might be like, oh my God, I want some of those cards that were so good. And so you're going to need to, at some point in the game, pass. And it's so great when you do, because you'll pick up like 8 cards, and all of a sudden now you have like 15 cards, and you're like,
I got all
I
the
can
options
do
in the
everything
world.
I want. And it gives you these awesome feelings of turns.
Yeah. I mean, they're just like, again, like I said, it's not difficult, but there is so much to it. And maybe that's partially because we played with like everything, but like I loved all of that. I love games where there's just like a lot going on. And like, yeah, anyways, you know how I feel about that. I liked too that there was like extra stuff on the round track, so like every turn wasn't exactly the same. There was like little things that would happen, like maybe you like get rid of a objective card or you get more objective cards or you can ignore reputation this turn or whatever. Like that was kind of cool because it always seemed to come at like, I don't know, it kind of like switched it up a little bit. The only things negative that I would really say about it, and again, this is not that big of a deal. One of them was the objective cards. Some of the cards, it was basically like I had these cards where like it depended, I needed to have certain tiles that purchased to be able to use those cards.
Yes.
And those tiles never even came up in the entire game.
Yeah.
And so, luckily you do discard objective cards throughout the game. And so I would easily just be like, well, I'm getting rid of these.
And I feel like that's the reason they do that. Because
but I'm like,
there
there's
could
no
be a
chance.
situation where, oh God, this worked out. And so
Right.
then you keep that, but like it's like, oh, okay, it didn't work out. Now I can discard
because
it.
there was some that you could have control over, like, like have these certain
these kinds of
servants in
servants.
your thing or have these certain tiles in your thing, but those ones are like, have the study tile and you'll get this point. And I'm like, well, that one never showed up.
Yeah, there was like 150
So I
tiles.
thought that was
This
kind of
one
like
is not
weird
gonna
to
come
me. But again, didn't make or break the game. It still all kind of worked out, and I got to just get rid of those ones and you just keep the ones that did
Totally.
give me points. But I thought that was kind of weird. And then the only other thing I would say, and again, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's just how it felt to me. We had these 2 milestone.
They're basically
cards.
public goals that we can
public
both
goals,
go for.
and we're like, if whoever gets it first gets more points, and whoever gets it second gets just like half the amount of points or whatever. But the 2 milestones, which you said there are a lot more, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a whole deck.
The 2 ones that we had, it to me, the way the game went just happened to work out. It felt like I didn't even have that much of a chance to complete either one of them first.
Unless you were playing suboptimally.
Yeah, because like one of them was like related to how many servants you had, but Ryan got this one tile that gave him an extra servant than me. So then it didn't take
Damn
him.
it, Ryan.
It took him a lot less time to like get enough servants. You
Did
know,
you win? Who won?
I won.
he won. Yeah,
Nice job.
Thanks.
and then there
I wasn't even scheming.
Yeah, and there was another one too that was kind of related to like turn order that I felt like because of the way the turn order went, like you finished this first and I finished it right after you, but since you went first, you got the goal first kind of thing, you know? So I've kind of, that was a little bit of a bummer. I was kind of like, well, I don't really have a chance to.
Well,
like,
now
get that
here's
first.
something. You don't even have to play with those. So there's a lot of the stuff. We just turned every module, every expansion. We just did it all. I was like, let's just play it all.
But like you said, like, that's me really trying to come up with something negative.
Right. Because that
And
wasn't even the
again,
reason
that was just
the game
probably
was lost.
how that play went. Like, that could just not even be a thing next time because
Yeah.
it's just how it worked out with the tile and the cards we had and blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah, I loved it and I want to play it again like today.
It's very good. Jeff, I think you would very
Yeah.
much enjoy this game too.
It was very
And you can't
fun.
find it anywhere?
You can. They just
it's on there.
re-released it.
Oh.
I don't know if it's available like in retail yet, but if you go to the Obsession website, you can buy it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll probably
They
look
have a
into it a little
website.
more. It seems
Think.
cool.
It's very
It's
good.
awesome.
It's very, very good. It's like Natalie said, it's one of the better games that we've played in a long time.
Yeah.
It's
and
that
it's just,
good.
yeah, if you like those games where
So
you're just,
10% to 10%, creeping.
Totally.
yes.
Totally.
Maybe not quite in the 1%, 10%.
I don't think it's in the 1% to 10%. It's in the 10% to 10%. It would take more
it's in
plays.
this- right now, the 10%
It's
not
definitely in
10%,
10% to 10%.
but yeah.
Solidified.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a great
Highly
game.
recommend.
After one play, again, grain of salt, but I don't see. Typically, it doesn't usually go that way, right? Typically, like if Natalie and I play a game, we both don't love it. It's able to go up. Typically, it doesn't go the other way. It's rare that we both really enjoy a game and then play it again and we're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Although that
it has
happened, I can think
happened.
of one.
It happened to Everdell
Lagrange.
with us, and Lagrana. Those are the two that it happened with.
Yeah.
Other than that, so barring those two games, I think that we are going to be very, very happy with
I think so too.
Obsession.
This is just like right up our alley. Like this kind of game.
Sounds
Right,
right.
which is again is why I think you would like it
Yeah.
too. Yeah, right up the alley. What do you got, Jeff?
I got games.
How many?
I want to
15?
talk a few.
Okay,
Yeah.
15 games.
I want to talk about a game. I'm not going to review it or go into it, but Devin and I played the game Suspects on Friday night.
Is that different than that 3?
We have that. Right? Isn't that little box?
What was that
Yeah.
game that was kind of like Dark Stories, Jeff?
Yes. Yeah, it
Was
was
that
like-
called Suspects?
Yeah, something like that. But it was like
This is
three, it was, I
different.
had a 3 in it. Yeah, this is
Okay.
different. This is a murder mystery crime game based on Agatha Christie's novels
Oh,
Yeah, that's from Gen. Yeah.
from Gen Con.
I remember.
Okay.
So if you bought anything at the
we have it.
it's not
We-
Hatchet, right? The Hachette.
Hachette.
It's not. If you bought anything at the Hachette booth, you got that free case. So you could buy the 3. That was the game Suspects, and then they gave you like an extra bonus introductory
right.
sort
That's
of
right.
case.
I think we have the introductory
So
one. That
yeah.
one.
So Devin and I played the introductory case. Okay, it is all cards. The instructions comes with like a little map that you can use. It's basically a train murder is the theme of the bonus one. So we just played the bonus one.
Is that an Agatha Christie one
And-
as well?
Yes. And then you play as this detective, and she is going to be, I think, throughout all 3 of those cases. And we went into it thinking that we were just going to like crush it. We're like, all right, this is going to be easy.
Yeah, we've played a
'Cause
billion of
Chronicles
these.
of Crime. We're like,
Right.
you know, we
know what the hell
crime
we're doing.
we figure it out.
Yeah,
You know,
we're
Chronicles of
experts.
Crime, where we play some of those mystery things, or like even the crime Zoom game, where you kind of go, all right, we get it, and we sort of played it like that, and boy, did it got deeper
you
than
down?
we should have
Really?
been paying. Like
On just the intro,
we need to
huh?
be paying more attention, which I liked because we kind of just like cruise through it. We're having fun, ha ha. You know, it's always the spouse, right?
Like,
Whatever, you know, go from there.
easy.
And
Unless you're playing Sherlock
we
Holmes.
played, and then we read at the end. We thought we kind of had it. We had a little bit, but I read it, and I was like, man, you got to like
He said
think
you should
about
have
it
played
like Sherlock. I should have played it
Yeah.
like Sherlock, where I'm looking at
5 layers deeper.
mistakes in papers. I'm looking at what this person said versus what this person said. I'm looking at the map to see where people were sitting and what direction they might be
Wow.
looking,
Wow.
and like
So it's more
that kind of stuff. I thought was
in-depth.
I like
okay,
that a lot.
That's cool. And
That's
both of us,
awesome.
both Devin and I, were like, I'm glad we played this introduction case, because if we would have like kind of, I don't want to say ruined the first one
Yeah,
by
you would've,
just
like, wasted it
zooming
if you-
through it.
yeah.
So I think that's something. I don't think you guys bought it, right?
What-
We'll bring it.
So
This could be a good.
Is this the one I showed
For
you?
the
Is that
four
the
of us?
introduction case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just play that. There's no,
Okay.
you don't need the regular game to play. You can just
Okay.
open it up and play it.
You think that'd be good for the 4 of us game?
I think so. I think it would be a fun, because I also don't think it's going to be as long as Sherlock.
Mm-hmm.
It's also something where cards stay out in front of you and you don't have to keep flipping back. You can
Yeah.
organize cards.
Oh, I like
so everything's
that.
found on cards. There's also some cool things where you like collect certain symbols, and that allows you to flip over a card or a different card because you found enough information about something, so it leads you to another thing. So there's a little bit of difference, but it seemed like just from the introduction that the story was well written and thought out. So I'm excited to jump into that more. So I'll keep you updated. Hopefully we can maybe we can play it.
I'm so happy that crime is kind of the new like zombies
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like that's the thing? Like if you had to pick like a genre of that, like that's super like
Popular.
always being done, or crime is really popular right
Crime
now.
is really
You
popular.
guys,
It is.
I said that so long ago, and it's still so popular.
It is. I
mean,
know
not
you're
even
right.
Just in
It is.
board games, in TV shows, in like
Podcasts.
It is.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Podcasts, yeah. It's just
It's. I feel like it's more popular now
why
than
are
it
the
was
people
even when we
so,
were still
like,
into it.
interested
Yeah.
in
We were into it back
I
then.
wonder.
Well, it's. I mean, how it's interesting. Anyway,
I think it's.
continue.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is that. I mean, most normal people, like that is just like very.
we call you normies.
It's just something that you would never do, so it's hard to like understand, and so you're like you want all the information you can to try to
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of it are
Very
always
true.
framed
Like I don't understand how
mysteries
someone could
and,
steal
like,
lemons from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Gotta figure
We
this
should
out.
do a
Figure it out.
podcast
I'm on the
about
case.
this
Where'd all these lemons
crime.
going? Why am I always short one
We're
bushel of
losing
lemons?
lemons. The lemon farmer's like, why am I being shortchanged? Why is he British? I don't know. A British lemon farmer.
Yeah.
Damn you, spooky jams!
Single-handedly taking down the lemon business.
The lemon industry.
All right,
that's funny.
Play the game. Play another game.
Ooh.
So the last couple weeks of our game night that we normally have on Monday, we've had people out or traveling or whatnot, so it's been like just two of us. So Dave and I played The Hunger, if you remember last episode.
right.
And then Joe and Dave were doing something else, so Bill and I got together and played the newest Ascension. This is called Ascension, Curse of the Golden Isle.
Ooh.
It's pirates.
Is it one of the ones we saw in that hotel room?
It is.
Yeah, totally.
It is. It was
It was on
behind
the
us.
right.
Wait,
It was
so
like
it's the pirate?
Yeah.
It was on a bedside.
It's the
When you
pirate
walk
one?
in, the 10th anniversary
pirate
was
one.
Okay.
first, and then to the right of that couch was the other one,
Yes,
right?
I
on a
remember
bedside
it was the
table.
pirate.
Yeah, on the table.
Yeah.
Yep, on the table.
Yeah, so
Bedside
Curse of the
table.
Golden Isle. So this is pirate themed, and I don't a lot of times gravitate toward Ascension sometimes because it seems like some of it's like just reskinned, right? Sometimes,
Yeah.
and I also don't really go like I'm not like let's go get some pirates, right?
Right.
Like
Pirate
pirates
isn't a
isn't.
theme
Pirate doesn't
that
do it
you're
for me
big
either.
on.
So
Yeah.
Well, to get you in the mood, I have some pirate jokes.
All right. Ooh,
You
ready?
do?
I like pirate jokes.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
How do pirates know that they are pirates?
There's an R joke in here somewhere.
It's pretty much all the jokes is with us.
Okay, cool.
They think, therefore they are.
They think therefore they are.
Like that one?
Okay. Yeah.
Where can you find a pirate who has lost his wooden legs?
Where can you find a pirate who has lost his wooden legs? Okay.
Right,
On the
right where you
floor?
left them.
Yep.
That's good.
Why did the pirate go on vacation?
I don't know.
He needed some
Why?
R and R.
I think you gotta do it. You gotta hit it more.
R.
Some R and R.
R and R. Why did the pirate join the gym?
Um,
To improve his booty.
I keep all I'm thinking is R jokes.
I know.
How does R fit into this?
Yeah.
How do you turn a pirate furious?
Argue with him.
Argue.
Oh, that's a good one. Nope.
Get him mad with anger.
Take away the P. I'll let it sit in.
Irate.
That's like Ryan. That's like a good.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. What did the ocean say to the pirate? Nothing. It just waved.
That's a dad joke. I like
Yeah.
that.
Totally.
That's great.
And then Gabi sent me one. I got this one a couple times. I posted something on Instagram that was like, "Hey, do you have any pirate jokes?"
yeah.
And a couple people sent me this, including Gabi. But he said this
same
is like a
joke?
classic one. Yeah, the same joke. A pirate walks into a bar with a ship wheel sticking out of the front of his pants. The bar, you know this one?
No.
The bartender says, "What the hell is that?" The pirate says, "I don't know, but it's driving me nuts."
Oh my god.
That's a dad joke.
Yeah.
Sure.
totally.
Oh, that's great.
All right, we'll end it on this one.
Oh, that's funny.
Natalie, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
No, 'tis the C.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You tricked me.
I
so
tricked
glad
you.
you did
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better when I don't get got. Gamer dog.
Gamer dog.
Hashtag gamer dog.
All right, so this is Curse of the Golden Isle. It's played very similar to Ascension. So if you've played Ascension or Dominion or Thunderstone or a deck building game, it
Clank.
is played very similar. Clank, you are getting cards, putting them into a deck. When they run out, shuffle them up, pick new cards, do stuff. Right? Standard deck builder. So you're recruiting heroes in this, building constructs, which is a little bit of an addition, I guess, sort of on. That's like the Ascension's addition, I think. When you have Dominion, you have these constructs, so you put these cards out. They're like buildings. They help you do all this cool stuff.
Yep.
And you are trying to get the most honor. Okay, you collect these gems. And that's also kind of a cool thing because that's the timer of the game. So for certain player numbers, so if the three of us were playing, we might have 35 gems that are out.
Doesn't it seem like Ascension was the first one to
I mean, it probably wasn't. But
Those-
we always call any gems like that in a game, the Ascension gems.
Yeah, they're all
Because they're used so often
Yes.
in a million other things.
It's like the same mold, and I feel like that's the first.
I
game
wonder if
played
that.
with.
Yeah, that's the first game I played anyway, for sure. That had those.
Let's talk to Justin Gary.
Yeah, we should find out. Did you create
Where did you
these?
find this
Yeah, where did this
gem?
come from?
And so there would be like 35 gems or whatever, and every time you earn gems, you take them and take them and take them, and then when they run out, that's the timer on the game, and that's when the game ends. So there's no set number of rounds.
You're making me want to play Ascension again.
This is
That's
a
just
good
fun.
one. Yeah,
So it's different. then.
it's a little different. So players start with their normal deck, but you also now have a ship, a pirate ship.
Each player?
Each player has a pirate ship. The pirate ship it's small. It's just like a little, it's a dial. So it's a ship, it has a ship picture on it, and then it's a dial. So it you change numbers. Okay. So there's also now a board. So some Ascensions have boards, some don't, whatever. It basically is the market for a lot of those Ascension games. This one has essentially the market, but it's broken up into 6 different spaces, and those are like where you're sailing, sort of. So you're sailing around the board in a circle, and you are basically next to one of those 6 cards.
It's like a rondelle almost.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just, like, at the end of your turn, you can move your ship one spot or another, and just kind of you can move around there. So being next to a card will get you a something here in a second. So one of the new mechanisms in Curse of the Golden Isle is you have this new currency, which is now called crew points. So you have money, which is normal, fight, which is normal, and now crew points. Every time you accumulate crew points, you just add it to the dial on your ship. That make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So, and as you accumulate them, if you are on a spot with a card, which you always are, and you want to buy that card or fight that card, instead of using the currency that's in your 5-card hand, you can use your crew points. So you can use all of your crew points
either
as money or strength. Yeah. So you can fight. So you can use all of your crew to fight a monster of 3, and then you lower it. It's not like a discount. So if you only had 1 crew and the thing was 3 money you had to buy, you couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have 3 or more, and then you
kill
could.
it,
So you had to use it all, right? So on your turn, you could really do a bunch of stuff, right? You can buy something from somewhere else because you can buy or fight anything on the board.
Yep.
But you can only use your crew points for the card that your ship is next to.
Got it.
Yeah. There's a super bad pirate dude that moves around the board. He's a new mechanism. So some cards will flip out and they'll be like an immediate reaction. A lot of games have done that now. I think since Dominion and Ascension, like Thunderstone, where something comes out and it's like a raid. Sort of it just kind of happens to you, which would move that little pirate ship around. The evil, super bad pirate ship guy, he'll take your crew or he'll do something kind of negative to you, but not terrible. It doesn't really destroy a lot of things or make you hate your life. It basically just lowers a crew, which could suck, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Not the end of the world.
Move away from the guy because he's not going to move more than one usually. So you got kind of plan where he is and get away from him. And the last mechanism that's new is called this cursed treasure, which sounds really bad, but it's not.
It does sound bad.
I don't know why they called it cursed treasure. Maybe it should be called just good treasure.
Treasure. It's good
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, it's good treasure.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Not bad treasure.
So if you at all buy a card on the space that has this cursed treasure on it, you get the cursed treasure. It comes in, there's 6 different symbols. If you get 2 of the same symbol, it gives you a power. So it gives you 3 more fight, or it gives you 3 more money, or you can move your ship, or it gives you crew points. If you've played a lot of these types of games, in my opinion, that is like the Thunderstone, the rune stones that you get in Thunderstone, where you can spend them for light, or you can spend them for something. So all of that stuff, the crew points, the cursed treasure, really leads to some kind of cool turns where you can do a lot on your turn. And the game ends the same way. They run out, and that's it. So the new additions to Curse of the Golden Isle versus just regular Ascension would be the ships, the crew points, and then these cursed treasure.
Okay.
So here's what I thought. I think it's a good addition to the whole Ascension lineup. I haven't played a ton of them because I always kind of thought of them as just reskins and whatever. I did go on. What's very cool is I went on Board Game Geek, and it can't be on all of these, but all the games, but under where it says mechanics or player number, stuff like that, there's a section in BGG for all the Ascensions that say which ones can be combined and where you can combine cards for, which I think is really cool.
That is cool.
Because there's just so many sometimes, and if you're getting into it and not following it by whatever, you don't know what cards you can add, what cards you should add. So that's a really nice...
The beginning expansions, because I had the first... So I had Chronicles of the Godslayer, which was the original.
Yeah.
And I was on an Ascension kick back in the beginning of the hobby, you might remember.
Yeah.
And so I had the first 4 expansions or something, and you could integrate those all in the base game.
Yes.
And so it kind of sucked only because in Ascension you have that one giant stack
Yeah.
And so now the stack is like
Bigger and
4
bigger,
times as big, and so you're just not seeing everything.
Yeah, you're
so
like
that was kind of the
you're like diluting the original. So, and then sometimes you're adding multiples of the same cards over and over again.
Right.
So that can be annoying. So I think there's this game is so popular that I'm assuming expert ways that people set decks, and this is the best way. So if you're just like thinking about Ascension, just like get one.
Yeah.
And this is
Right, because they're all standalone.
they can all be played standalone. You can buy little tiny mini packs that can be inserted in different things and gross, and other kind of stuff like that. So I think that this doesn't overcomplicate regular Ascension. So those 3 new things doesn't make it
It doesn't
too
sound like
much. It's not like, oh boy, like I just wanted to play this simple Ascension game, and
Yeah.
now here's all this other garbage.
Does it still feel like Ascension?
It
though?
feels completely like Ascension. You can
Yeah.
still kill a pirate cultist.
Just,
You
like,
can
adds
still
a couple little things.
It just adds a couple things
Kill
that
the
really
cultist,
create, like I
kill
kind of
the
said earlier, have these like satisfying turns. Like they might be a little longer, but I can like buy 2, 3, 4 cards on my turn. Right? Because Ascension also has that thing that if you buy a card, it immediately refills, and then you have an opportunity to then
Yep, buy
get
that
one.
card.
Mm-hmm.
So if I buy one on the spot on my ship, I have 3 crew points. I buy this one on my spot, and it flips over, and now it's 2. I can
buy
use
that
my
one
crew to
too.
buy it, and you have these kind of turns that are sort of a little more exciting than just
I like that.
fight and then I'm done, or
Yeah,
buy and then I'm
yeah.
done.
Right, or marry or boff
There's
and kill.
yeah, all those things. So there's like you can get 3 or 4 cards on your turn, not easily, but it happens, which is it feels good.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, because especially
I like
because when
it.
you're fighting those monsters, they don't clog up your deck. And essentially, if you ever play it, you just get the points and they discard. So there's not a ton of deck clogging. The cards in this new one are different. So this pirate one is not going to go into regular Ascension. It can go into that Skulls and Sail. There's a Skulls and Sails version, which this is a step up from this because it adds the Cursed Treasure, and it's so easy to add in, and it's just a good mechanism to add. I think it works great with 2. I think deck builders maybe are usually fine with 2, but I think this one goes.
I like this
well
one a
with 2.
lot with 2. There's even it's like $10, and it's like a 2-player only.
Oh yeah, is it Eternals?
Maybe. Yeah, it might be. It's basically
Yeah,
just
Shards of
Ascension.
Infinity. No, it's like maybe it's
Ascension something, but yeah, it's only
Yeah.
it's specifically for 2 players. That's the most of my plays with Ascension, which are a lot, have been 2 players.
Yeah.
It's great.
It works great, and your downtime is almost nothing. You're just
Almost
like-
nothing.
Because if you're playing with 4, yeah, you're waiting between turns. Turns are fast, but it's nice to just kind of go back and forth.
I want to
really
play
quick.
Ascension now, dude.
I know.
Damn it.
We
So,
have it.
No, we don't have it.
Yeah, we do.
We do?
Yeah, my copy. We still have it.
Yeah, but where?
It's upstairs.
oh my god,
We can play
I
it.
saw it
We have
the
it
other day.
upstairs.
Remember,
Let's
I
wait
put it in
today.
that
We'll be right
little. I put it. I keep it in that little like.
I love that that's a fucking thing
Yeah.
every episode. That's my favorite thing on earth.
Do you have just the regular
Just
Curse of the Godslayer?
Very regular.
Yeah, Chronicles
very
of the Godslayer.
regular.
I have an irregular copy of it.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
had it forever, and I store it
10
in
years
that.
at most.
It's like in this little.
Like a card
It's
box.
like a little
Stock
box
chest?
with like a it's like a little chest. It's like a little
Where you
silver
might
chest.
keep a gimp.
swing upstairs.
and that's where I like store it. I think I even do I have like
Because
the
it
map?
doesn't need anything else. It just needs the gems and
Yeah.
the cards.
Yeah, we gotta play it. Let's play it
Okay.
today. Sweet.
It's cool.
Yes,
so
thanks, Jeff.
I would say if you've never played Ascension, just like play one. I feel like at this point it's become one of those like classics in that genre. You have Dominion, and then I felt like when I played Dominion, I was like, this is kind of cool. But I like the idea of fighting things in Ascension and fighting those monsters, and the
Yes.
monsters kind of give
Yeah.
you stuff. I like that a little more. If you do like regular, they also have that 10-year anniversary that was kickstarted. That's just coming
Right.
out.
And that's Chronicles of the Godslayer, right?
That's Chronicles of Godslayer. They have remastered some of the cards. They put some cool new art on the cards, not changing it entirely, but kind of, spicing it up.
It was very
It's a
contentious
little-
artwork. I loved it personally, but a lot of people hated it more than
Yeah.
anything they've ever hated.
So I don't,
they
I don't
revamped it.
have like a strong opinion either way, but I do know that some of the artwork is new. It comes with the 10th anniversary game board, which is pretty cool. So if you're someone who likes things organized, because
do.
really you could just play it and throw it on.
Yeah,
the
you don't
table.
need it. You don't need anything.
But I like that it has a
like
game
that
board.
too.
So these are 2 new Ascensions to their line: the 10th anniversary and Curse of the Golden Isle.
Curse of the Golden Isle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you liked it.
I liked it. I think I'll just. There's no reason for me to not play this over some of the other ones, right? Because it has everything that I like of
And then it just
Ascension,
adds that little thing in
and then
that
it
kind of
adds
gives
the
you
crew
more
points. It gives-
opportunities.
it gives me some cooler.
Yeah, that
turns,
sounds
I think.
fun. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
It does.
So way back in like episode 10, which was era 1 of the show, we talked about Cosmic Encounter.
I'm talking about it again right now, so prepare for redundancies. We've run out of games to talk about and are now just recycling old games. No, seriously, it's been a few years since this game, since we played it, which used to be my favorite game of all time. And it's been a few years since it's hit the table. What's that?
Before Star Wars Destiny.
Before Star Wars Destiny was a twinkle in the eye of
George Lucas.
George Lucas. Now, who the heck was the guy that Corey Konitska was partly designed Star Wars Destiny? But there was Lucas Letzinger, I think. Hey, who cares? Who cares? Don't get me started, Natalie.
Sorry.
It's been a few years since this game, which, again, used to be my favorite, has been seen at the table. Well, we hosted Mick, his wife Party, and Mr. Wookie for a game night, and none of them had played Cosmic Encounter, and I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to get it played. And man, do I love explaining this game. And going through all the rules and seeing all their little faces light up with excitement. Then I hit them with the aliens and they go from excited to like dry humping everything in the basement and the feeding frenzy of game horniness. It's an amazing sight to behold and I love doing it. So in Cosmic Encounter, I'm going to do it all to you guys right now. Okay. In Cosmic Encounter, you're playing as an alien race looking to reach out and establish colonies onto 5 other foreign worlds. Each turn, you have an encounter with another player or sometimes yourself. And you kindly but super aggressively send some of your forces to their homeworlds looking to obliterate them and establish a nice comfy home base onto one of their planets. The cool thing is, you don't have a choice. You draw a card and it's like, okay, I have an encounter with the green player. So I'm coming for you, Mr. Wookie. And so I send some ships to his planet and he defends with ships that are already there. And we get to ask for help from our fellow players. They can send some of their ships to either help the offense or the defense. And if the offense wins and they helped, we all get to establish a colony on their planet for ultimate humiliation. Yeah, and I helped. If we lose, we all die, and the people that helped the defense get some sweet rewards. After alliances are formed, each main player, not the allies, chooses an encounter card, which usually just has a number on it, and then we reveal it. We then add those numbers to the number of ships on our side, and a simple math equation happens, and whoever has the higher number of ships plus the number on their card wins the encounter. Ties go to the defense. Now, that may all sound pretty fun and exciting, but are you ready to start dry humping everything in your house?
Can't wait.
Each player has an incredibly game-breaking alien power at their disposal to completely throw the game from a deterministic math equation into the most chaotic maelstrom of utter nonsense and ridiculousness. Is it balanced? No. Is it fair? Not usually. Is it fun? Oh my God, it's so much fun.
Yes.
Maybe your alien power makes each of your ships worth 4 ships. Maybe your alien power lets you just take cards from the deck as long as no one sees you. Maybe your alien power lets you steal actual planets from your opponent, taking their ships and now they're just yours. So there are all sorts of different aliens. I have like 150 of them, I think, and you never know how they're all going to work together. Also in the game are these negotiate cards, which Jeff and Dave use to win the game every time they play.
Yeah.
You can just say to your opponent, hey, how about we just make a deal and I put one of my ships on your planet and you put one of your ships on mine and we both get a colony. Oh, and that's the 5th for both of us and now the game ends and we both win.
Go team.
It's absolute insanity from start to finish, and that's why this game is awesome. So, things I like. I almost love every single thing about this game, but number one is the feeling that it gives me all game of just like anything can happen, and you just kind of are going along for the ride. You have to go into this game expecting it to be all sorts of crazy and hilarious, kind of like a game like Galaxy Trucker, because just as often as you'll get screwed over by it, you'll be the one doing the screwing over, and who doesn't like to be screwing your friends in front of your other friends, making them watch? Nobody. Everyone likes that. Things I don't like. Okay, this game actually has a lot to not like. I've heard it described
What
as,
other people don't like.
Yeah, other people don't like. I've heard it described as Munchkin in space, and that really hit me in the ballsack of my soul because it's not entirely wrong. There can be a ton of bash the leader in this game, making it go on and on and on for far too long. Do not play this game with more than at most 6 people because of that exact reason. Also, the game can just completely end before someone gets a turn. That has happened multiple times in games we've played of this. Yep. Now, the good news is most everyone is involved on everyone else's turn because of the alliances, but when the game ends and you never got a chance to actually be the offensive player, that kind of sucks, right? Also, if you get completely screwed by alien powers or draw of the card, it can be a very long and frustrating experience for you as the game is not 30 minutes. It's like anywhere between 90 minutes and 300. Depending on how your play goes, how the aliens interact, and how spiteful the players are. Overall, this game is a beautiful disaster, and I love it so much. And I'm very, very happy we got it played. I really want to play this again at NerdFest this year, and I hope it happens. What did you think, Natalie? Bring us down.
Well, the funny thing is, I played this way back in the day at least a couple times, I think, and I remember liking it. But this play
That bodes well, doesn't it?
yeah.
boy.
But this play was more like
But-
what you said could possibly happen to somebody, and it happened to me. That would be frustrating. And so it's hard for me to make judgments on this game. Because like you said, you just got to go into it with an open mind that it's just going to be not really necessarily fair. Things are just going to happen out of nowhere. You know, like things might go like amazing one game and it might not go your way at all one game. And so this game didn't go my way at all. Yeah, it was, so that was kind of like a bummer, but like, I mean, it was still like cool. Like this, it was honestly what I really felt. It wasn't like, I don't like this game. It was more like, I am jealous that all of you are doing this sweet stuff. And I'm like sitting here, like
Wishing I was part of it.
Yeah, wishing that I could do something
Wishing
like
I
that.
could go
like,
to bed and get out of here.
I
She
like,
did end the game for all of us.
not really.
Yeah, you king made party.
But,
But sometimes you just got to end it.
yeah, well,
gotta be done.
I was like, yeah, it wasn't going great for me. Well, what happened? Like, I drew my hand of cards. They weren't great cards, and I was the only person who never picked up another card in the entire game. So I only had those to pick from. I didn't have any negotiate cards. I didn't have great cards. And then also like I struggled with like the alliance part, like who I should align with, and I feel like I picked the wrong
Every time?
one every single
Yeah.
time. So I got like no extra benefits ever. And I mean, even having said that, I wasn't like way behind or anything with my colonies. Like I was like
Yeah, I got
in
last
the
place.
mix. Yeah,
I lost.
but it was more just like there people are like throwing these sweet cards, like, oh yeah, you think you're gonna get that? Well, here's this, or you know, take this, or do
She's
you
like,
want
I want to do that.
I know it was more like jealousy, you know, like oh man, I can't do any of that fun stuff. I'm just sitting
So would
here.
you play it again?
Yeah, I think I'd play
That was
it
a
again.
Do you want to
Long
update
pause.
your top 5 from last week?
Well, it's hard.
Glad I never have to play Cosmic
That's
Encounter ever
another-
again.
See, that's what I mean. It's hard for
Yeah,
me
because
to
it
like,
might not be that way.
right.
So.
It might not be that way, and it might be awesome, but it also might be that way, and then not that fun. So it's like it's one
You
of those.
just so cannot take this game seriously at all. If you go in
Yeah.
thinking like you're going to have strategy and planning, it's
Right.
going to be miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
You said you never drew a card. I had an alien power once.
This is the funniest
where
thing ever.
I
You
drew
drew
a
all the
card
cards?
every time someone drew a card.
Yeah.
Not drew cards.
Yeah.
But if you had a turn where you drew 6 cards, so did I.
Yep.
And we then had to alternate because you had to draw one and I had to draw one, and then you had to draw one and I had to draw one.
Yeah.
I had 100. I had 100
That is
cards.
enormous.
That's so
he had almost
funny.
the entire
So
deck.
I could just do whatever I
It
wanted
was
every
so
turn.
Yeah.
funny.
It was
That's a
insanity.
fun. That's a
It was
cool
it was
alien.
hilarious. Yeah, what do you think of this game, Jeff?
It's insane.
Yeah.
I think exactly what you think. I think exactly what the people who love it think and the people who hate it. It's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
get
hard
it.
to say.
But I just don't. I know that I can't take this game seriously.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that was the first time when I played Galaxy Trucker was the same way where I was like, okay, here's my plan strategy. Boom. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well,
My
now
ship
I
just blew up.
Well,
What
this is really annoying.
Yeah.
And now I changed how I go into that game. Going, all right, just have fun. It's going to be silly. Laugh.
Yeah.
Flip tiles.
This is not a game where you're going to be like, I won the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
cosmic encounter. It's not
Right.
that kind of a game. Like we're like for like a really like heavy strategy game, there's a chance you could be like, I feel good about myself. I won the last play of that. You're not going to say that about
Right.
Galaxy Trucker or
Yeah.
Cosmic Encounter because it's just chaos.
Right,
something
right.
stupid happened and you won.
Yeah.
and
It's
it
like the
didn't matter.
experience
There was-
of playing
Yeah,
is what
there
you
There was
should
only
be.
one cool move that I made, and everyone was mad at me for it except Patty because it made her win.
Party.
But like I played a
party.
card where like everybody was like aligning, and like if Patty won that turn, she was gonna win the game.
Yeah, you king made
And
her.
I like
Queen
played
made
this
her.
card where I was like, no one's allowed to have alliances. So she had to go head to head with Dave, and then she like won that.
Yeah,
and
we
they
were
were all
mad.
like, "What the hell, Natalie?" And I was like, "Thank God." And Patty's like, "Thanks."
So,
you know?
yeah, well, that's what. Sometimes you just the game
You can
needs
do
to
that.
be over.
Well, so that's what happened. So we weren't even playing an hour.
I know it was pretty short.
It was not like that. It was like, yeah, it was like my turn, Kevin's turn, Natalie's turn, Patty's turn, end.
I think
had
we
a-
all got like one turn.
Maybe.
Yeah, I had a play where Dave and I just negotiated because it was going on for 5 hours. We played it for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, we need to take a point.
That's
we're
when
done.
the game sucks. And if you're playing with people, like now our group knows kind of like, okay, we're just not going to let it go on all night.
Yeah. There's ways to shorten.
But if you play with more than 6 people, it's going to be miserable.
Yes.
You want to go 6 or less. I think 5 is kind of the sweet spot.
What does
5
it
and
play
6.
up to?
You can
Like
with all
30?
expansions, you can play up to 8 people.
Oh, wow.
With
it's like a
expansions.
party game at that
Yeah,
point.
and we've done it,
Which
and
is,
it's just no, just never
Yeah.
will that happen. Because you're definitely going to be in the situation where people aren't getting turns. probably.
Yeah.
And it's just the cards aren't cycling, and it's just not fun. So that's Cosmic Encounter. Love it. Natalie hates it. Jeff thinks it's okay, which is awesome.
the
Good
options.
game. Yeah. What else got, Jeff?
I have a game called Small Islands.
Oh, I'm really excited to hear about this. I loved the pictures you posted on Instagram, which
Thanks.
immediately caused me to go to Board Game Geek to look more about it.
Yeah.
And I found that it came out in 2018. Tell us about that.
Weird. So, from my small amount of research, so Mushroom Games had, you said 2018?
I think that's what
this
it said,
came out
yeah.
in 2018 or 2019, and it has been out. It never really hit the States until recently when Lucky Duck grabbed it and was
2018.
U.S. distributor of it. So it now has Mushroom Games and Lucky Duck on the cover of it. And I'm not sure if there's more to it or why or whatever. But I'm glad that it really got the light of day here. It's like brand new. You can start to find it. It's in their, Q4 collection, right? I think that's how they kind of break down all these things. So,
Okay.
it came out a little while ago. Mushroom Games. Now Lucky Duck has it. And now we're talking about it because they sent it to me. And now it's
Nice.
going to be hearing the light of day because
Hell
of our
yeah.
podcast. So dozens of people will now. be able to-
Dozens of us tiling
yeah.
goodness.
Here's some facts about islands.
Ooh, archipelago.
The world's largest island. Do you
jokes
know what
and
it is?
facts.
Ro-
I got it all.
Australia.
Greenland.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know how many people live in Greenland? I do because I Googled.
Not many, because there's only like 1 or 2 cities that are habitable, because the whole thing is just
I'd
a
say-
glacier. It's like all ice.
500,000.
Ryan?
I have no idea.
Do I have a minute to
Total
Google?
guess.
No.
Oh, okay. 600,000.
Ooh.
500,001.
56,000 people.
Whoa! Yeah,
all
okay.
of Greenland?
I knew there was very, very
Yeah.
little, because there's like 1 or 2 cities maybe, because the whole thing is ice.
Yeah, but one city could have 500,000 people. In
Doesn't
it.
though, only has 50.
Yeah, 56. One is 50, the other one is 6. Java, Indonesia is an island. It is the most populated island in the world. You know how many people are in
Java?
there?
500,000.
Indonesia. 600,000. 500,001. No, it's
150 million people.
Yeah, I'm like, it's
Whoa.
millions.
150 million people live in Java, Indonesia, which is the most popular island.
Java is a game.
And Madagascar is a cool island.
That's cool. It's got lots of animals on it.
Yeah, it is estimated. I looked this up too. 80% of animal and plant life cannot be found anywhere else on the earth.
Whoa.
Oh, I
that's
thought that-
crazy.
Isn't that cool?
That is awesome. I thought, for some reason, that was the Galapagos.
Maybe it's that.
I wonder
too.
I wonder if that's similar to that. But you're right. I've heard that.
That's crazy.
I've heard that stat.
Well, it
Because
makes
it's just like a little
sense, 'cause
offshoot
if
of
it's
Africa,
an
right?
island, then they're not like spreading around unless
Yeah.
people like take them off the island.
I'm assuming minus like zoos or weird crap science, but
Yeah.
naturally found.
Right.
Yeah, Carol Baskin's got some.
Freaking Carol Baskin.
Fucking Carol Baskin.
I haven't watched any of that new.
Oh my god.
We have. It's kind of
What
boring.
was that?
Oh, okay. Don't
Oh,
watch it
we
then.
watched the first episode and we were like, I can't watch.
Yeah,
it.
I was like, this is not the
terrible.
same.
I thought it would be like a continuation of this, like, but or more fun.
just
but
like,
it's just like an
where
update.
are they now?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
admittedly, we only watched 1 episode,
That's true. That's
so
true.
it might get better.
So Small Islands tile placement game. I'm a sucker for tile placement games. I just feel like I want them all and I like them all.
You
and
say
I
that's
just
your
wanna play them.
favorite mechanism?
Gosh, maybe. I always think like, worker
Yeah,
placement
worker
is where I
placement
always
is
go
yours,
to.
yeah.
Is like my bread and butter. But tile placement games, I always feel like are just fun for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, 1
Okay.
to 4 comes with a solo. So if you're a solo person, you'll play against like a little AI, which actually worked fairly well.
Oh, you tried it that
I
way.
played a couple rounds of it.
Cool.
After I watched, it might have been Rado play kind of the solo, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I brought it to game day. I had a prep before Board Game Club, and then I was like, let me just play a couple rounds, and it worked. It worked kind of well, which I thought was pretty neat because making an AI place tiles is tough, and I thought the game did it in a pretty cool way. So. Players are daring explorers discovering new lands, or just laying tiles to create different islands. Right, however you want to think of this goofy thing. You're creating an archipelago.
Yep. A grouping of islands.
That is a grouping of small islands, which is the name of the game. And you're playing to one board, so everyone's playing to one central archipelago. So you're adding to the same
Right,
game.
like a Carcassonne.
Yeah, you're drafting and placing these tiles. So on your turn, you can do one of two things. You either take a tile from this like 3 face-up market spots, add it to your hand. So you start with 2 face down. You take one, you add it to your hand, and then you place one of those into the archipelago. It's got to match, obviously. You got to put land to land, sea to sea, blah, blah, blah. On the land and on the tiles are symbols.
Yeah.
There's a few different symbols, 4 or 5 different symbols. There's like a leaf, there's a fruit, there's a little house, there's something else that's red. So there's different...
yeah. Like a ship.
Yeah, there's some different symbols, right? And there's anchors, there's that kind of stuff, okay?
Yep.
The other thing you can do, so instead of placing a tile into the main board, you can place your ship tile into the archipelago. As soon as anyone places a ship tile into the archipelago, into the board, it stops and you do a scoring round. There is a timer. You can't just do that whenever you want. So you have to have at least a certain amount of tiles actually be played onto the board before anyone plays a ship. So it's not like if I place the thing and then Ryan goes, well, I'm placing my ship and the round's over. That doesn't happen. So you have to at least, I think it ends up being at least 6 tiles have to be played. But you can choose to just keep going and going and keep placing tiles and placing tiles. But as soon as someone feels like, you know what, I think I'm going to have more points than everybody, or my scoring is good, I'm going to place my ship tile, put it out there, and then the round is going to end and you're going to score. So before the entire game starts, you pick some scoring cards. So you pick 3 scoring cards. You keep one of them to score that round, one of them to score later, and one of them you discard. So everybody then flips over the one card.
Biblios. Okay.
Yeah, one card that you picked to score that round, and then everybody scores that card for any number of islands that have been created on the board. An island doesn't have to be finished; it just has to be 2 or more tiles. So, for example, the island, it might say like score an island that has more fruit than leaves, and you get points for every fruit and houses, or something like that, right? So it gives you a condition that says you can score an island if these conditions are met, and this is how you score that island.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There are some cool tokens that every time you put a tile out, you can actually add a token, which changes one of the icons on the island, so you can kind of switch that around. I had a pretty cool scoring tile that was like have equal number of icons on an island, and then you get points for how big it was, which is kind of cool. So you wanted to make it as big as possible, but even out the number of things that were on there. Most of those scoring are just like with icons that are on the island. That's kind of, some of them are like how many anchors are surrounding it, but it's basically with all the iconography on the board, that's how it's going to score. That's how you meet those requirements. You can play a maximum of 4 rounds, because if you're playing with 4 people, that means everybody's ship is put out and the game is over. If you play with 2 people, there are 2 dummy ships that anybody can just put out, and they just...
How is it?
They just put out... It's fine.
Okay.
It's good. It makes it go on for 4 rounds. If you run out of tiles before 4 rounds and you're just like overly playing the game sort of and overly adding tiles, it'll end in different ways, where if a stack runs out or something.
Oh, okay.
But it pretty much ends after 4 rounds where all those boats are put out, whether it's yours or the dummy players. And the dummy players is literally just you get to choose when the round ends. So it doesn't like whatever. So you get points for each round. You get the points for the cards. You get rounds for basically cloistering your boat. So all the
Cool.
anchors that are around your
Give you a
ship.
point each.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
each anchor that's around your ship gets a point, and the 8 tiles that are surrounding it. Overall, I think it's good. It's like a family, lightweight, easygoing game. I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of was like, all right, again, I go into these tile laying games, I'm like, another tile laying game.
Right.
What am I going to
Yeah.
think?
What's
and
it
then I
gonna
play
be?
land versus sea, and I'm like, damn, that was
That
good.
was fun.
And then I
Yeah.
play small islands. I'm like,
Ooh, I
this
like
was
this
fun
too.
Yeah.
And I would suggest
Kind of
there's
hard to mess them up, maybe.
yeah, and if you, I guess if you hate them, you're just going to hate them.
Right.
If you don't like fitting tiles together or creating something, you're not going to like it.
Those
But,
wackadoodles are out there.
yeah, they're out there.
Well, there's also different kinds of time. Sometimes you're like timed. So maybe people don't like they like tiling, but they don't like being
Yes.
timed or something.
Like Sorcerer City, where you're like
Yeah.
panicking and you're like
Right.
peeing your pants, like trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
I did like that everybody is influencing these different islands, and everybody wants to score the islands, but you want to make the island fit your category. So if my stipulations aren't met, I can't even score that island. So Ryan and Natalie might be playing on 2 different islands that I might want to score also, but if they mess up my one island that I was trying to score, like Devin had this very cool turn where she basically, I had already scored an island. So you can only score an island once per game.
Okay.
So if you score it in the first round, you can't score it in the second round. It's
Right.
done. You put a little house on it, you're done. So I had been making this like second island for my next round because I knew what my next round scoring was, right? So I was kind of like, here's my first round stuff, here's my second round stuff. And Devin, in the middle of the second round, combined 2 of the islands.
The
So
one
then
you
the
were
one
working
that I
on?
was working on and the one that I already
Oh,
scored,
no.
then combined into one
So you
island.
now can't score?
So now I couldn't score that other one.
no.
And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, my whole game's ruined. I just start making islands somewhere else. I didn't feel like butthurt. It wasn't. It
Okay.
was just a great that
were
was
like,
the move she
wow.
needed to
On her
make. It
part,
was
yeah.
great.
Did she do it on purpose?
Because she hadn't scored that big island yet. So now the
Okay.
island is now twice the size that
now
it
she
was
can
before.
score that.
Yeah.
And now she can score it for a huge amount of points.
Because
So
you can
just-
both score it.
yes.
An island. You can just only both
Exactly.
do it once.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she waited later to score it because now it's this
Yeah.
massive island. So it wasn't like she did it to screw me over. She did it because it was the best play for her to do.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. There's also, I might even recommend if you just want to jump into this game like full force, there's this advanced scoring card, which is kind of cool. So it essentially like cuts the scoring card in half. So there's a whole deck, 2 decks of cards where you're drawing them separately, and you are creating essentially your own scoring cards instead of picking the pre-made ones. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you take the one that says, this is what the island stipulation has to be, and this is how I'm going to score that one.
Wow,
which I think is super cool.
That's really cool.
And it just an easy way to kind of up the randomness.
Yeah.
So if I take 2 cards and it seems like, oh, this board sucks, like
Right.
I'm not going to be able to do anything. To have that kind of flexibility to make your own scoring cards, I think is a really cool.
Right, that definitely makes it
Yeah.
randomized if you're not going to even score the same way every game that you play.
Right. I like that players determine the round length. I think that's kind of cool. It could be a downside. Some people might not get equal turns every round, but I think that's again going to happen. It's not like something that's going to probably destroy you every single round. But it's like it could end after the 6 turns, and then someone on the 7th turn is like, I just got to play my boat. It's the best for me to do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you play with 4 people, if Ryan puts out his boat, he can't take that action because he doesn't have a boat. Right. So he then has to keep playing tiles. Like it's not like one person can end the round every single time.
Sure.
So you're going to have an opportunity to play your boat. It's just when is the most opportune time to do it. I think it's a good family weight game. I think it would be easy to like whip out randomly to end a game night. It took 30 minutes, if that, for Devin and I to play it. I explained it like quick, and I was like, "Is that?"
Right.
I think
that's everything.
got it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a ton here.
Yeah, sometimes I explain to them like, "Oh, it's only been like 5 minutes." Is that
Right.
Is that it?
Right.
I must have missed. Oh yeah, here's how you win.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. I know it doesn't get like massive love on Board Game Geek, but that's also maybe because, not to be like arrogant, but it hasn't been out in the United States,
Yeah.
so it's not going to get as much buzz. But
Yeah, potentially.
I think Lucky Duck did a good job of
Plus,
bringing
on
it over.
Board Game Geek, it just seems lighter games don't get the love.
Yeah.
The same amount of love
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that the heavier
Yeah,
game.
go in. It's a family weight game. You could play it with. I think you could play it with kids. I think you'd be able to play it with Cameron and Lexi, and again, they're not with the combined scoring cards, but they would easily understand the concept of the game, how to play, where to put tiles,
Yeah.
what would score. So it's pretty
cool.
good. Small islands.
Small islands.
islands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff oftentimes will bring over a game that we will play before the show each episode. And it's awesome because it kind of like lets us wake up a little bit and primes us for a game, and then gives us more content for you.
Yeah.
So he brought over last episode, kind of like a handful of games. Was kind of like let's play one of these, and so we picked one, and one of them that we didn't get to play, I was kind of disappointed about because I really wanted to, and it's this new Stonemeyer game, roll and write game called Rolling Realms.
Yeah.
Well, he brought it back this time, and we got it to the table. And you may have heard about this game because it's all over the place right now on Instagram. Everyone's got Rolling Realms. Everyone is talking about Rolling Realms. The thing I haven't seemed to see, and again, maybe it's just me maybe I just haven't seen as much as there is, but I haven't seen a ton of people's thoughts on the game. I've seen a lot of people talk about having it,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen, what
what do they
people
think?
think about it. So we're going to tell you that today.
I'm gonna tell you what
The
we
three of
do.
us are going to give you our fizzles on this gizzle. So we played Rolling Realms. Is this designed by Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Designed by Jamie Stegmeyer.
And I think designed during COVID, which I also think was cool. I
Really?
think during COVID he designed it, and then he had this massive play where he like you could come like play it with him. He had big groups because basically he could have 100 people.
Sure.
Just him roll the die,
Right,
and then you could print out.
you
So
put-
it
yeah, you
started
print
as
out
like a
things
print
and
and
put what you
play.
want.
So you could print it out and you played it, and I think it started to catch on. So then
That's a cool thing about a lot of roll and write games is they can kind of potentially play as many people as you have sheets for.
yep.
Because a lot of these you're just kind of doing yourself and then comparing your score to everyone else's. This game is no different. In this game, a roll and write game, you know what? A lot of roll and write games have dice in them, right? This game's like, we're not just going to have dice. Oh, you know those dice from Seasons, those giant chunky dice? Are the big, we're going to even go a little bit bigger than those.
Yeah.
There's 2 dice in this game, and they are potentially the biggest, chunkiest dice you've ever played with in a game, and it's very satisfying to roll.
I don't
these
even think a
things.
baby could pick them up.
They're so
Yeah, they're big.
awesome and chunky, and you never roll the numbers you need. So they're just like normal dice. Okay. So in this game, what you're doing is you're playing over the course of 3 different, 9. Well, that's 3 rounds. 3 different rounds. Each round, you get to write on 3 different cards. There are 11 cards total in the game, and each game you'll play with 9 of them. And they come out randomly. Now, the cool thing about these cards that you're playing on is there's a couple different things. Number 1, each card is different and has different rules with how you apply the dice that you roll. Because on each turn, what you do is you roll the dice, And then every player applies, there's 2 dice, every player applies the pips that are on those dice to 2 of their 3 cards they have in front of them. And again, the rules on each card for how you place dice, how you score points, which are stars, like every Stonemaier game, right? The way that those rules are is different. And that is one awesome thing, maybe my favorite thing about this game. I'm getting ahead of myself. The second cool thing about these cards is each card is named after a game in the Stonemaier collection. So all 11 cards are all 11 games that have been released. Actually, you know what, is Euphoria in there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so all the games that are released by Stonemaier are represented in this game, which is a awesome thing to think about because potentially, as more Stonemaier games get released, that's like inherent expansion stuff that's going to be available for Rolling Realms. How cool is that? And all of them are kind of like themed like the actual game that they're named after, which is just a really cool touch, I think. And so in this game, what you do, like I said, at the beginning of the round, you get 3 random cards. Every player gets the same card. So like, let's say there's everybody has a different color. So I'm the black player. Now there's the red player. Jeff's the yellow player. We all have the same cards in our deck. We'll shuffle them up. I'll deal 3 and say, okay, these are the 3 cards we're going to play with. Every other player finds those same 3 cards. And now we start. We roll the dice. 2 pips come out. You take those 2 pips, and like I said, say it's a 5 and a 2. You are applying the 2 to one of those 3 cards in front of you, and the 5 to another one of those 3 cards in front of you. And these cards, and they do different things. Like one of them is, for instance, it's like a pyramid, okay? And so you have to play higher numbers on the top, and they can only have lower numbers directly underneath them. And if you manage to, get that completed, you're going to get stars. Each card has a maximum of 6 stars you can get. So a maximum score on your turn is 18. Well, actually, you can go higher than that. But 18 points, plus you get points for these little, like every roll and write, every blank and write game, you get like resources, okay? In this game, it's coins or hearts or pumpkins. And you can either spend those pumpkins, hearts, and coins to do various things for you, like get new dice, use dice different ways, or change the numbers on dice, or you can keep them because each one of them is worth 0.1 points at the end of the game. So if you have 10 of them not used, that is 1 point. Okay. So you can potentially score a huge number of points on your turn if you have, all 6 stars figured out on each card, plus a bunch of unused resources. I don't know if that's really likely to happen, but it's potential.
But
The potential can happen if you get the right combination of stuff and the exact right numbers you need. So you play 3 rounds of that, okay? So 3 cards come out, and then you play basically 9 rolls to fill those cards out. Then you total up your points that you just got in that first round, write it on your little score sheet, then wipe everything, do it again, deal 3 more cards, play round 2. Do the same thing. And then round 3, after round 3, you total up all your points from round 1, round 2, round 3, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Things I liked about this game, I kind of already gave a little bit of it away. I love so much the different rules on the different cards. There's 11 different cards with 11 different rules. It's like you're playing Mario Party. There's like these little mini games that you get to play each time. Now, some of them, admittedly, I would say are much easier and simpler to understand than some other ones. There's a couple that are kind of like, maybe your first game or two, you might kind of be like, what do I do? What can I do there?
Reread the instruction for it. You're like, what?
Luckily for us, we were taught by Jeff, who knew every single thing down pat, so it was easy for us. But I could definitely tell as he was explaining, okay, if I was learning this from the rule book or something, I guess I could see how this could confuse me.
Or even when they came back out, I would had to refresh. Like, what is this? Oh, right.
But again, that goes away. That's maybe a 1 game learning curve. If you play, this is a game that I feel like you could play over and over again. It's very simple, and plus you kind of might want to A, see those 2 cards that you didn't put in the first game, and B, the different combinations that you're going to get of these cards just seem like a fun, juicy puzzle to figure out each time. Like, oh man, it would be, if I had this other card when I had this card, this would work perfectly together. And it has that typical roll and write cascading feel, which I love in games like we talked about on Hadrian's Wall, where you circle that, and then that gives you another, that's my third pumpkin. Now I can cross off all those pumpkin things to use a die on a sheet that I've already used it on. Oh my God, then that gives me a coin, which gives me a coin. Now I can spend 2 coins to get another die, which I can use over on this card. It has that kind of stuff, which is really, really fun. And I'm very surprised I haven't heard more like wow about this game, because that's kind of how I feel about it. I kind of feel like as far as roll and writes go, this is one of the better ones I've played. It's got those it's all dry erase, so it's got dry erase stuff, kind of like the silver and gold cards where they're kind of like oversized. These are even bigger than the silver and gold cards. And you're dry erasing on them, and it's very satisfying. The dry erase markers, I mean,
cleans off
they are
very
like very high
nicely.
quality, which you
Yeah.
wouldn't expect anything less from Stonemaier. They erase really easy. It was really, really awesome. Again, this is kind of one maybe like obsession where it's hard for me to come up with something that I disliked. I guess, like I said earlier, some of the rules for some of the cards might be a little tricky at first, which I guess could seem and appear unintuitive. Like Jeff taught it very, very well, so it was easy for me to remember what he had said. But again, if you don't have someone like Jeff to teach this to you and you're just learning it from the rule book, I could potentially see like, how exactly does this work? So I put this, you know what I mean? I
Right.
put this here, I cross that off, I get to use
Does
that,
the rulebook
or
give you,
don't
like,
I get to use that
examples
again?
or not?
Yeah, it's well done. Yeah, the rule book is fine. There's not Rado, Rodney Smith video that
Teaches
is
you how to
obviously
play.
amazing. If
There's
you-
a watch.
if
It's a
you
watch
wanna
and
do
play
that,
for.
yeah,
Okay,
watch it play.
that's awesome. I would recommend that because again, this is a game where I feel like you need to see it to learn it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I felt like
I
as I
think
was
so,
teaching
too.
it, I was like drawing examples on my card. I felt
Yeah,
like that was
that's like going to
Yeah,
help.
that
I think if you
was
just
very
read a text, it might be a little trickier. But honestly, that's kind of a nitpick because every game is going to have rules that are just a little.
Right.
You know, you got to think about it. You know, you can't expect every game to just instantly just be, oh, this
Right.
is super simple. And especially as they add more cards, they're going to have to come up with ways to make it a little more interesting, and it does. The ones that are a little more complex are a little more interesting, I would say, you know, to figure out, because a lot of times what you're trying to do is maximize how many dice you can use on cards. That's what you're like trying to do that the whole game.
Yep.
How can I use as many dice as possible on as many different cards using these resources while still keeping points? And some cards just inherently let you to do that. You can put 2 numbers on there, and then you still get to use that card over here or another die over here. And overall, I'm pretty surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I expected it to be good, not great, because of the fact that I've seen so many people on Instagram talk about it, and I haven't seen many thoughts, and so I assumed what that meant was,
They weren't.
I'm not that excited about it. But yeah, they've got Rolling Realms, it's Stonemaier, but I'm not that excited about it. I'm very excited to see what new game, like when a new game comes out from Stonemaier. I feel like I'm gonna be like, ooh, that's gonna be a new card in Rolling
I think it
Realms.
would be
When's that
very
gonna come
cool
out?
If they just put it in the box.
So the new game comes
the
out.
next game.
Here's a Rolling Realms expansion.
Oh,
card.
yeah,
It's
just,
already
like,
in the card.
provide it.
It's already in
Yeah.
there. So then it's like, I'll get Rolling Realms now. And that's also like, well, if you're Jamie, it's like, buy this game. And then you can
Right,
get a
like
little
I have this
expansion,
card,
right?
might as well buy the game now. Yeah.
That seems like something that he would totally do. I think it's a
Good
very
marketing
cool idea.
ploy.
Great job, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff. All right, we're gonna go clockwise. Natalie, what'd you think?
I agree. I really like this game. I all roll and write games I want to like, and like you said, one of my favorite things, or probably my favorite thing about this game, was all of the different types of cards and the different ways to use your dice and to try to get points. And the fact that like it wasn't just the same stuff the entire game; it's switched up every round. So you're using like 9 completely different cards to get points. And I liked that they weren't just super basic too. You know, it's not like, oh, I rolled a 7, I'll put a 7 in this box.
100%.
It's more like way more.
None of them were
I
like
know
that.
what game
more
you're referring to.
complicated. Yes, like Super Mega Lucky Box. Yes, you're right. That's exactly what I'm referring to. I like roll and writes a lot, and I especially like them when they're more thinky. And I felt like this one was more thinky, but not overly thinky that it's like a heavy game or anything like that.
Yeah.
But for a roll and write, it was definitely thinky, kind of in the way it reminded me of like Trois,
The dice
game. You know, where it's like you have to think, you have to make decisions, and you're like, okay, if I put this here, that'll give me this, but then I don't get this. But if I do, you know, like just kind of like Obsession, you know, like I have to like think through my turn. And that's the same with this. Plus, on top of that, you get to write on cards and you get to like roll the dice. And I mean, all of it is just really fun to me. And right after we played it, I was like, Ryan, give me this for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
I wrote that down too. That Natalie said you can buy me this for Christmas.
Can you get it? Is it available?
I believe so. I think it is. I think there was a first print run, and I think that's. I don't know. Again, maybe it's not Miniature Market or Amazon.
It is,
but it's not. Is it $20?
$20 on Amazon.
Yeah, which is
Boom,
a
buy
very
it.
fair price for what you get. So
Yeah.
when you're thinking about Jamie playing this or people playing this with hundreds of people online, you get I believe I might be wrong. It might be 6 you get 6 sets of cards.
Yeah, I thought it said it played up to 6.
So yeah, so you can
which
go
is
1 to
cool.
6. The solo game is like this version of mini golf. I haven't played it, but it just seems really intriguing and kind of funny. But if you wanted to play with more people, essentially what you'd have to do is go online and just print off the print and play, and
just
then
bought it.
somebody would have to. Merry Christmas.
Spoiler.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Spoiler for you.
Yeah.
Spoiler, jeez.
Some people would just have to play on the paper versus other people being able to play. So if you did have a
Yeah.
group of 10 that wanted to play it, you just have to print and play stuff off, which I'm assuming is on Board Game Geek or you can get on Stonemaier. But I want to say that the markers were great
Yes, they were.
because I don't remember what I bitched about before. Oh, Castle Party had had just terrible markers. These markers were good.
yeah, agreed.
They were great.
Nice,
They were, like,
bold,
quality.
thick. Yes, good
First
markers.
world problems.
The-
I really wish. One thing I love about dry erase markers is when they have the eraser
eraser
on
on
the
it,
back.
yeah.
So I kept finding myself like flipping it over to erase. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't do that. I have to grab another thing. Ugh.
Yeah,
I
it came with
know.
like a little cloth. It comes with 6
little
little
pepper.
cloths
Yeah.
to like
Or,
wipe
like,
it off.
spoiled, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm spoiled.
I flipped mine over and like erased. I was like, the plastic was on.
Yeah,
the thing.
like,
I was like, oops.
Oh, the
like,
wrong
ugh.
side.
Yeah.
yeah.
The dice are so cool.
They're great.
If you hated it and you would just be like, oh, I'm gonna keep the dice.
I'm going to appropriate these dice to
Yeah.
another game.
Yeah. I liked the incorporation of all the games. Like you both said, I thought that was just very cool that all the games were incorporated in there. And there was something, like when I looked at these games, there was something that was I don't want to call it like an Easter egg, but something about the games were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like with Tapestry, there was this little, which is one of the cards you didn't get. I was kind of disappointed we didn't get the Tapestry
Yeah, we
card
didn't
out
play
in
that,
our
did we?
play, but it's like a little polyomino 9x9
right.
gritty thing that you're doing, which is what you're doing in Tapestry, right? You're putting the
Yeah.
buildings on your own personal grid. There's viticulture where you're adding up grape points to
Yep.
fill up wine, which is exactly what you're doing in viticulture.
cool.
The scoring in Between Two Cities is your lowest card. Like
Yeah.
that's what Between Two. So I like that there was. You felt like I don't want to say you were playing Between Two Cities, but you could feel that game in there. And having I normally like a lot of the Stonemaier games, so that was kind of cool to be there. I love that. I like that we're all playing on the same set of cards all the time. At first, I was kind of like, well,
Yeah.
does
Are
that
we gonna
ruin
do the
some of
same
the thing?
thing?
But
Yeah.
we didn't do the same
That
thing.
never
like,
happened.
Ever.
No.
And I think that the different combinations that comes out. So if you get, Between Two Castles, and then you get Between Two Cities, and you get Scythe, you get those 3. That's a completely different game you're playing than if you got Viticulture, Between Two Cities, and My Little Scythe.
Right.
That's a totally
Yeah.
different round
That's
you're
one of my
playing.
favorite things about it.
So every play is going to feel really different. And I liked how you used those resources. You like collected those resources, and even like, we're talking about like 0.1 points. You're like, oh, that's not a big deal. Natalie scored 40. I scored 39.4, and Ryan scored 39. So like
Right.
every
We're all
resource
within
clearly
one
mattered.
mattered.
0.1 point mattered.
Right.
It mattered.
And it isn't a round up or round down thing. You just get 0.1.
Yeah. Point one. I
But
love that.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for like the next play to see like what, because you can use all of your powers as many times as you want as long as you have the resources. So I kept trying to think of like what crazy, like I can duplicate a dice, I can change the number, I can use it on the same one, and then like to do all that, I think that
I feel like there's
a next
still
level.
things. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I feel like there's still things
Yeah.
that like I probably could have done this a lot better.
Right. Yeah, I could have used the resources
Yeah,
better.
I can already see that our next play, I might be
Yeah.
find a way to be like, oh, what was I doing?
Even at
Yeah.
the beginning,
How was I
like,
not
the
doing
first,
this?
Right.
The first round of this one, we were kind of just like we didn't really use a ton of resources.
Yeah,
I
we
felt
just
like
were kinda
'cause-
like, okay.
But then at the
Agreed.
end, we were like, oh yeah, we
Yeah.
should totally utilize.
Right, I
that.
gotta get this
You can
done.
Get extra dice basically for some of them and do more
We're
stuff.
saying get you a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And there was also like a little tenseness of you can only put 1 dice to 1 card.
Yeah.
Because then that was kind of tough too.
That
Because you
was
wanted to add
everything.
because you wanted
Yeah,
to put
you
like
wanted
You
to
now
put everything
can't
here.
just
Let's
get
do everything
100
on this one.
dice. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, well, I'm going to use a coin and get a 1 and use a coin and get it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you just can't play them anywhere.
Right.
That was very cool.
It was
was
really good.
fun.
I had a good time. It's staying around the collection, and I'll whip it out a lot.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
We'll have it in 1 to 2 days.
Okay.
that was the first time you played it.
Yeah, that was the first time
We
I played
opened
it.
it. He popped the shrink today.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's very cool. So what else you got,
Yeah.
man?
Rolling Realms. Do I have anything?
I thought you had
That's-
something else.
I
Maybe
thought
not.
that was
If
it.
not,
Yeah.
then we'll move on.
Nah.
Yeah, that's it. All right. I'd like to talk to you all for a moment about the Gateway Board Gaming Network, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com and the Gateway Network on Instagram. The sole purpose of the network is to help new or up-and-coming content creators grow by shouting each other out. If you go to the Gateway Network website, you will find other amazing content creators who are trying to grow as well. They are all amazing people who produce fantastic content. It's very exciting, due also in large part to the merch store there. Yes, we've got a merch store, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com/store. There you can find so many amazing items from a large portion of our members. Whatever kind of content you're looking for, The Gateway will have it. If you're a newer board game content creator and you're looking for a way to grow your content, please consider heading over to thegatewaynetwork.com to learn more. If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters to help out. The Gamecasters Twitch account has relaunched, and we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night, streaming board game and video game content and having a blast talking to all of you. If you just simply can't get enough Gamecasters in your day, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/Gamecasters and give us a follow and maybe a sub. I have the best time streaming for everyone, and it's just a super fun place to unwind after a long day and watch someone who is trash at games play games. Come hang out and engage with me in a way you never thought you had to before, but I'm sorry, you do. Twitch.tv/Gamecasters. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all 3 of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. It's now that time of the show where Jeff just says the name of our Instagram followers with no other substance for 10 minutes in today's Instagram Inboxa.
And now it's time for the Instagram inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
Welcome to the Instagram inbox. I'll be reading your Instagram names and, not
nothing
saying
else.
anything else there.
Emotional
Main
Cyborg,
Street Meeple.
Miss French Toast,
Yeah, Miss French Toast.
Spooky Gems.
Emotional
And now over to
cyborg.
You know that already.
So,
Sorry.
so I did something easy. Rapid fire questions.
Easy's
sort of.
great.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Ask
wrong
us
with easy.
anything.
I like this.
What do you got for us? Okay, got
Yep.
a bunch of responses.
Oh, yeah.
So keep your answers short.
Don't drone on,
Love it.
Ryan.
Emotional Cyborg says, "What's your dearest wish you don't ever want anyone to know you're wishing for?"
Oh.
You want us to tell the whole world?
Yeah, maybe I don't want to tell you.
Dearest wish you don't ever want to tell anybody. Tell us all
Yeah,
now.
tell us.
Okay.
Huh.
I think I could probably do that. Selena Gomez.
Stop
She is
it.
a national treasure.
You tell that every day on the episode.
She's an
on the
international
podcast.
treasure. But he didn't want people to know about
I
it.
didn't want them to know. It's like a
Dearest
guilty
wish.
pleasure.
That
I'm just
Ryan
kidding.
would make enough money that I don't have to work.
Lily. Okay, hold on.
Wait, my dearest wish
You're
is
implying I don't make enough money?
for her not to work.
For me not to work and we still live this lifestyle.
I wish
Oh my God.
that Ryan would make
Just
enough
me.
money so I don't have to work.
I would pay for all of you to do everything over here if I
Yeah.
could do that. I make good money. What the fuck?
Hey, that's why I don't tell anybody. It's my dearest wish. You can't give me a hard time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's yours, Jeff?
I don't know.
Next.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be like money related, but I feel like that's not something that I hide. Where it's like, of course, you want to win the lottery,
Yeah, I thought that
or you
too.
want to just be like, yeah, I just don't want to work anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say Selena Gomez. I'll say Lily Reinhart.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
better.
God.
Yeah.
And
CP
Selena
Wilson
Gomez.
says, "What was your first kiss? Like, ooh, like
What was it?
What
a
was
kiss.
it?
It was a
human
kiss
being.
on the lips.
Yeah.
Mine was a human being.
Yeah, I guess maybe like when and who.
Okay. My first kiss was, I think it was, oh man. Oh gosh.
Like
was
how
it-
old you were?
I think I
Yeah, what
was
grade
in
were you in or
seventh
something?
grade. No, I was in sixth. Yeah, I was in seventh grade.
Wow.
My best friend at the time, his name was Francis. His
Kissed
sister.
him? Oh.
And Francis and I just went to town.
we
didn't know what kissing was about.
Let's
So,
practice before we get to the
His
girls.
sister dared us to kiss, and so we did for the next 6 years. No, so his sister was like a little older than him, and she, for some reason, thought in her head that I was like the most popular kid in the middle school. I don't know why she thought that, but she did. And so she just wanted me. So we used to go in her room and just make out. And it was when you're first kissing somebody and you don't know what making out is, you're just spit
Foolish.
everywhere.
And that was your first kiss was like a full on.
oh yeah, we were like making out. And
Man.
it was, and I was just like, oh,
You're, like, into it.
It was just like dripping. It was disgusting.
Ew.
And I was like, yeah,
Delightful.
most popular kid in school. And she's like, wow, how are you so popular? And I was just like,
I don't know.
what are you talking about, lady? Yeah, that was my first. I think I was in 7th grade.
Natalie, what do you got?
I think I was in like 9th grade, and
First kiss in 9th grade?
Yeah,
Nice.
All right.
I beat you by 2 grades.
Yeah, I didn't.
I think I'm going to be
really,
a slut on the show here in a second.
Jeff did
I
it in
wasn't
4th
really
grade.
like. I like technically had a not technically, but like my first boyfriend was in middle school, but like we didn't ever see
Yeah,
each
right.
other in person.
That's
we
how
just like
all
talk
those
on the
goes.
phone, you know. So yeah, in 9th grade, it was this guy that was actually I didn't go to. He was a little older than me, and he was my friend's cousin, and he was like in town. And when we were like in her basement alone, and we kissed.
On the penis.
No, definitely not.
How about you, man?
So I didn't have like a full makeup. My first kiss was not a full makeout session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my first
It was just
experience.
like, it was one of those like you kiss and then run
Yeah.
away. It was in 5th grade. 5th
Okay.
grade first kiss.
Still elementary school.
and
eh?
then just, yeah, because in elementary school you have like those pretend like.
Yep. Same with
like
middle
each
school.
other,
I
you
would
like
yeah,
pretend
yeah.
you're whatever.
We're,
and blah,
we're
blah, blah.
going out.
Yeah.
But you don't ever talk
You don't
talk
do
to them.
anything
Yeah.
or yeah. So yeah, it was we just went to school together and it was like kiss. 2 people were like, "Can you kiss?" And we were like, "Okay, let's kiss."
Yeah.
And then like ran away and then that was kind of it.
I guess there's a chance that
Sounds
something
hot,
like
man.
that happened, but I don't even remember if that.
I don't
If it was
remember
your
either.
First, maybe you
I'm
would
thinking
remember
more
it.
of like my first like I'm attracted to you, and then we kissed.
I'm thinking first kiss means first kiss.
First kiss. First time you
Well,
ever
I,
lips.
I would say
smooched someone else.
something if I remembered it, but
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure my first thing was
Yeah.
Kelly Karshevsky, right on the
Ooh,
lips,
what's up? All
right on the
right, I'll
mouth.
pull my phone back out. I forgot this was my segment.
Oh, yeah, right. I can take over.
all, like,
CB
dreaming
Wilson
about
says
kisses.
top gaming experience. Like, what's your best favorite gaming experience?
Okay, I think I can answer this one.
man, you
There's a
come up with answers
million.
so quick.
There's a million, but I honestly think that play of the resistance that we had at your mom's house, it was me, Jeff, Dave. Me and Jeff and Dave were just involved in it, where me and Jeff were just arguing for our side, and Dave had no clue what to do because me and Jeff
Yep.
were being very persuasive for our sides each. And then Dave had to make a decision, and finally he did, and it was just so funny, and I was involved on the winning side of that particular play, and I just remember like that's just when I've remembered
Yeah.
that forever, and I think it was very memorable for all of us.
Yeah, it was
because
really funny.
what made it also really fun, it was me, Jeff, and Dave doing this together, the 3 of us, and Joe and a couple of his friends were there, and they were watching it,
Oh my!
and we were. It was like it was so. It was like
great.
it was peak for me. One of the peak gaming moments for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear something really funny
Yep.
about mine?
Yep.
So mine was
it
with
9th grade with your
me,
cousin? Oh.
Jeff and Dave.
Jeff, Dave, and Ryan when we played The Mind at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And Joe was
Watching us.
recording us.
We really need this voyeuristic stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
that
a
was
great one.
insane, and we all just like it was so tense, and we all just went nuts, and it was just like
Well, because we won.
one of those moments
'Cause we
that
won
was
it,
just like
yeah.
incredible.
Those are
Yep.
I thought about those too because those were so great
Yeah.
and so fun. I think one of the things is just like being at Gen Con for my first time. Like
Yeah,
gaming
your first
experience,
Gen Con?
Like,
Just, like, in
walking
awe.
into that room the first time was just like
That was a
holy
fun year.
shit, how cool was that? So yeah, there's individual plays that are just so fun, and then just the experience of seeing like the
It's
hobby. at its
also
huge.
the Penny Lane.
Penny
the
Lane
whole
was so
Penny
fun.
Lane. Yeah,
That
was
so
pretty.
I
good.
like that we just have those. We have
Yeah,
those
we have
common
those.
experiences
Awesome.
that are so fun.
Agreed.
Bad Board Game Covers has a few. First question was board game or bullshit?
Ooh, okay. Bullshit.
Natalie,
bullshit.
I'll go board game.
Nice.
Okay.
Be contrarian.
Phil also asked if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Ooh, if I could live anywhere.
I'll answer. I'm going to go
Okay.
Australia/New Zealand.
Yeah, I was gonna say Australia was the first thing that came to my brain. I also kind of really think I would like Japan.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, like I would love to live in like Tokyo or Kyoto or something like that.
Well, I've never. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say those because I've never been there.
Well, I haven't either.
I know,
Yeah.
but like, I'm gonna say either somewhere like
You're gonna be like
Seattle
Columbus, Ohio.
or
Yeah.
like
Westland.
somewhere
Yeah.
like on the East Coast. When we just went on the East Coast, me and Ryan were like, if we like move somewhere, I would legit like move over here. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
feel
cool.
like that is practical.
Yeah.
But like if you're being like impractical, wouldn't you be like Italy or something?
Anywhere.
You know, you could live anywhere in the
I
world.
totally live in Italy.
Then pick that one.
Okay.
This isn't real. You don't actually have to move.
Shut
Yeah, I'd
up,
live in Italy for
Ryan.
sure. Oh, I'll go pick that.
Phil asked, do you have any ideas for the next bomb ass Netflix series?
Let's see.
Like TV series. Do you have any TV series ideas?
Wait, like ideas for a new show
Yeah.
or like ideas for him to watch?
No, I think ideas for a new show.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was gonna recommend a show for him to
No,
watch.
I think
okay.
like next. So maybe think about that one. If you have like a TV show idea.
Oh, okay. TV show idea.
Oh, man.
I think Gamecasters,
The
like
TV
just
show.
the three of us, the
Like
TV
the Truman
show,
show, but the three of us.
or like it's like Seinfeld, but we're the characters. I think
Oh,
I think
you know
people
what I've
would
Dibs
watch
on
that.
not George.
I think I'll be George. I'm
I'll
fine
be
with
Elaine.
George. I have the build for George.
I always thought it'd be really funny if we did some sort of like sketch, like Gamecasters show or like a Who's Line type Gamecasters show.
That sounds
That would
great.
be really funny.
Well, this might lead into his next question of would you ever consider doing a live show at a convention?
100% yes.
Yeah.
That'd be
I've
great.
thought about that many times.
Oh,
I
that'd
never
be
felt like
cool.
we were big enough to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I
We'd
would
get, like,
love to do
4
something
people.
like that. I think that'd be great.
Better half reviews. This could be Allison. What's your
Probably.
favorite
Is.
cheese?
I really like. Is it Havarti? Is that the one that we get?
Yeah.
I really like
Havarti's a
Havarti.
white.
Havarti's good.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
like Havarti. Gouda.
Yeah, Gouda.
Gouda,
Gouda's
Havarti,
good.
and then that Merlot cheese.
That
I know
Merlot
it's so
cheese.
bad
Pepper
for
jack
you,
is
but
something
it's so
that
freaking
pepper jack I
good.
put on like every sandwich ever.
Oh.
Yeah, pepper jack is like a really good like standard cheese.
My standard
Yeah.
is Colby Jack.
Yeah, Colby Jack's also very
Yeah.
good.
What's your least favorite game from Better Half Reviews?
Least favorite game? Probably Age of Industry.
Ooh, that was on the last show.
Yeah, I did not like that game.
Man, Unicornus Knights is pretty low.
Oh god, that game sucked.
That was fucking miserable.
That game sucked.
What was that game we played at Gen Con where I lost in a turn?
Yeah,
It was
what
like
was that?
Monster in the Woods or some. It was not very good.
Noises at night.
No, that one's one that Joe has. But it was like weird. I just lost in a turn. Roma Arena 2, that might be one of my least favorite games.
The one that you lost in a turn, by the way, I think that was designed by like a high school student.
Oh,
No offense to high school students,
Stupid
but
idiot.
but I mean like it wasn't like a game designer
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
well,
I'd
The
say,
hell was that game called?
I'd say tuber and I don't know.
Oh
Yeah,
man, did Natalie hate
oh,
that game?
boy. Allison also asked, why don't her kids just stay in bed?
Yeah, what the
I
fuck
don't
is
know.
wrong with
Stupid
kids?
kids.
They only have pains that ail them
Yep.
terribly that they need to go to the osteopath at nighttime when it's bedtime.
Yeah.
My legs, my feet, my stomach,
If you
I'm
lock-
gonna
If
die.
you lock them in the room, then they'll stay.
Sheer Boredom asks, how often should you dust?
Ooh, how much? How often should you, and how often we actually do is a very different number.
We clean our house once a week.
Is dust
It
a
involves some
euphemism for
dusting.
like actual dusting?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
So what's this?
I wasn't sure if it was like a
How often
euphemism.
should you dust? Is the question.
Yeah, you should dust a couple times a month.
I think when you see the dust.
Dust.
Yeah, I feel like when it's noticeable.
But sometimes there's places you just don't dust, like above, like on the
Yeah.
fan blades. You know, you got to do that every once in a while.
I
Yeah,
say-
I never do the fan blades.
You got to do it.
Oh,
Okay.
or you
Or the
know what?
baseboards.
The vents. We have a vent that's like high up in our
you gotta
room.
do
Yeah, it's
that.
fucking
It
disgusting.
gets gross. I dusted it the other day because I'm like, I just kept looking at it. I'm like, that's gross.
Can we talk about dust as a euphemism now?
Yeah,
Once an hour.
yeah. Like every 20, 30 minutes, you might be able to reset the dust, but like you're gonna have to dust yourself. Like it might take longer every time afterwards. To dust
Dusting
it.
yourself, yeah, always takes long.
Like if you-
or it doesn't take long at
Yeah.
all, but it never feels as good.
Yeah, sometimes if you pre-dust, it'll help the future. Like dusting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
But you got to see, for me, if I pre-dust, I
You might
cannot
not make it
perform
back
the
for a
actual
second
dusting.
Yeah, you might not come back.
Right.
Natalie.
I'm not
What,
answering.
what do you have
Okay.
to say?
Natalie Sheer Boredom also asked, what is the perfect temperature for tea? And I'm going to respond with tea is garbage water. So
Yeah.
suck it,
Yeah.
tea.
Iced tea with
What are
lemonade.
you,
And Ted Lasso would
Ted
agree.
Lasso, yeah.
Ted Lasso would agree.
Yeah,
tea is
with him.
garbage
Yeah,
water.
I
tea
guess
sucks.
I've never taken the
Natalie loves
temperature
tea,
of my
though.
tea, but I just put it in
Boiling.
the microwave and
Scolding.
to me it has to definitely be like warm, like really warm. It's like just a notch below like too hot to drink.
So that
No.
temperature called too hot to drink, you want
It's
to
like
notch
it's
below
like
that?
it's like it's drinkable
skosh?
without
A
being
skosh
like
below that?
scared, but it's like not colder than that.
Yeah,
What are some
okay.
things you think about while sitting on the toilet?
Oh,
Think
Selena
about-
Gomez.
Yeah, Selena Gomez. Lily Reinhart.
Lily Reinhart.
And Selena.
Emma Watson.
On the toilet?
For some reason, the second I walk into the bathroom, I'm like, who would I bang? I don't know why. I just I
For
can't.
real?
I've thought about that so many times. I'm like, why does this only happen when
And why
I
am
walk
I
into the
pooping?
bathroom?
Yeah.
And why does it also only happen every other second of the day?
That's funny. Usually I think about stuff I want to buy.
Like
Well, yeah, because
poopery?
you're usually like on your phone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you're
or
like,
poopery.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need some poopery. This is
No,
stinking.
not poopery.
Poopery
Like right now
works
it's
well.
like
Poopery's
Christmas
great.
presents for
Yeah.
people. You know, I'm like,
I have masked many
And then
an
you
odor
poop,
with
and then when you
poopery.
walk out of the bathroom, you completely forget
Yep.
everything you thought about.
or you go buy it right then.
Except
Yeah.
for me, Selena Gomez is still in my brain.
I'm not sure how you'd answer this, but Roberto also asked a farting question. What's the loudest fart you ever farted?
Ooh, what It's like a specific loud fart. Well,
Like,
I've
I
done
don't-
it once in my life, so that's probably that
I don't
one.
remember a specific fart that like woke people up out of bed.
I can remember, and I
Yeah.
think I told this on the show, and I kind of want to say it again right now, real quickly, is because it's so funny. But the fartest fart that I was privy
fartest
to,
fart?
the fartiest fart that I ever farted was Chris Bondi, our good friend. We were in high school. We went to high school together, and we were giving a presentation in front of the class, and everyone's looking at us, and all of a sudden he's just like. Like almost like he was like expecting it to be a silent one, and it
he
just
just
wasn't,
let it
and he had
go.
committed to it at the beginning of it, and so you can't just like,
Yeah.
you just let it go, and you look at his face, and he's just literally as red as anyone could ever be, and he just goes Taco Bell. And everyone,
One thing you can do, you never can trust a fart. Farts are never trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meeple mentor, who was your first love? Dun dun dun.
Who was your first love?
Yeah. That's a little maybe. Somebody. People who don't listen to the show.
Yeah,
Meeple mentor said, "What's your favorite movie?"
Die Hard.
Ooh,
My
it's a
favorite-
Christmas movie. 'Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I've changed my stance on my position on that, and I would say no.
I
it
like
is not
your
a Christmas movie.
reasoning why it makes total sense.
Oh, okay. Do you want
Do
to?
I
Is that
explain
was that a
it?
precursor
No.
to my reasoning?
Yeah.
No, just leave everybody on the hook.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. No, I'd say Die Hard.
My favorite movie is The Princess Bride.
Ooh, I like The Princess
Awesome.
Bride. I think my favorite movie, if I just go back to like my childhood, would be like Sandlot or The Goonies. Probably
Great.
like,
Those are
favorite.
good
Sandlot's
movies.
awesome.
What would you do with $10 million? I
Spend it.
would retire.
I would
Yeah,
spend
not
it.
work.
$10 million is a number where I could stop working and still make a good amount of money on interest.
Yep.
and be
Interest,
done.
yeah.
And still live
Correct.
just fine.
Yeah,
Accountant
I would
Natalie,
do
correct?
nothing.
Yep.
I would not work again, unlike
I would do
some
whatever
idiots.
the fuck I want every day.
Yep.
Emotional Cyborg said, "What do good house guests bring?"
Interesting. I wonder
your
why
house.
she's asking
Yeah, I wonder
that.
why.
That's a weird question.
$10 million, I would say.
Yeah, $10 million. That's a good
Yep,
answer.
$10 million.
I think a good sense of humor, clean up after yourselves, be thankful. I
Yeah.
don't think you need to physically bring.
You do not
anything.
need to bring anything. I am not one of those people who
no.
I
we
don't
don't
like that
expect-
sentiment or that expectation that you're going somewhere so
Yeah.
you have to bring something to be polite. No, I don't care. Bring yourself. Bring comfy pants. Bring a desire to throw your keys in a bowl, and bring an
Booyah.
open mind.
It's an orgy joke.
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks, Jeff.
Janelle also asked, "Is Ryan still feeding Jack lollipops?"
If you saw him again,
Yeah, if
you
we saw him
probably
again,
would.
well, no. If we saw him again, it is. I don't think there's a.
Jack wouldn't let you in the house.
Yeah,
unless
it's
you had
a
lollipop.
mandatory. Sucker man. Where's the sucker man? Sucker man.
Bobo asked, "Do you have a best board game pickup line?"
Ooh, that's interesting. Hans on my Teutonica? I don't know. Keep your Hans on my Teutonica. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, it's like Teutonica is your
gonna-
penis.
Yeah, right.
and your Hans
Penis
are your
joke.
Hans.
Yeah, Hans made Noosa.
Yeah. Think about that. Maybe we'll come up with
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Janelle would really like to see another a game called Ryan or the Dogs. So that's up there.
Okay, we can do that again.
Bobo wants to know what's the
good.
best shirt you've ever owned.
Oh, I've
shirt
had
you're
some
just, like,
great
obsessed with.
shirts. One of them is actually in the rotation right now. It's the shirt that I bought on this random website for winning this. I won a football league, a suicide league at work,
Okay.
and the prize was a shirt, and I was the runner of the league, and I won the whole thing.
shirt was
So
it?
it's sitting on the floor right behind Jeff. Actually,
Oh,
that is my
one.
favorite shirt.
Yeah.
I like it because it fits me nicely, and it's very, very comfortable.
Ooh. Natalie, you got a favorite shirt?
I mean, I guess my current favorite shirt is just this T-shirt I got on Stitch Fix, and it's so soft, and it's like so comfortable, and it's just like just enough baggy where it doesn't look stupid, but it's like not like you don't feel self-conscious. It's just like awesome.
I think I have
I'm
like
in love
favorite
with it.
sweatshirts. Like that are like
Yeah,
comfortable.
that's
I
still
like
a
to wear
shirt.
sweatshirts. There's I feel like I had
love
this shirt in
sweatshirts.
college that I thought was funny, and maybe it's not, but it had like the solar system on it, and it just had Pluto with like a little word bubble, and it said "fuck." When like Pluto got like cut as being a
Oh.
planet for a while.
Yeah, like no,
I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny.
That's funny.
You have any favorite Christmas or holiday memories from Bobo?
Of course. Every time I opened a present, I liked.
Yeah.
Yay, good memory.
Yeah,
Board
right.
games, board
Yay,
games. Favorite Christmas movie from Bobo?
A Christmas Story
Elf.
for me.
Mine's
I
Home
love
Alone.
Elf.
These are three fantastic movies.
Yes.
Yep. What is a specific game mechanic or mechanism that has impressed you lately?
I really like I Split You Choose.
Okay.
There's not enough of that. I feel like we played Cutterland, and I was like really,
Ooh,
I was like,
yeah.
oh man, that was really fun.
Like literal, I cut you.
Yeah, that's literal. I
Yeah.
Cut You Choose.
Yeah.
Natalie, you got one?
Was it a board game mechanic from a
That's
specific?
impressed
Yeah,
you
that
lately.
just says that impressed you. So I've liked in recent years they've started to like combine some of these sort of like Lost Ruins of Arnak has like worker placement
Like
and
hybrids.
Dune has like
Deck
Yeah.
building.
yeah, these kind of mashing up of mechanisms I think are really cool. Like games don't fall into like specific categories anymore. I like that they're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I like that too.
Do you grill with propane, charcoal, pellet, wood, or is grilling over?
Oh my God,
rated?
I'm so excited this question's been asked. I'm going to take just a quick second.
Man.
I typically grill. I
Very
have
topical.
I
Who
have
is this?
This is
How do they know?
This is from Bobo.
Bobo, yes, Bobo. Thank you very much for asking. I just bought a Kamado style smoking grill, which is charcoal specific. Okay, I also have a stick burner, which is an indirect smoke heat grill. So you make a little fire in a firebox, then you cook the meat from the smoke in that firebox. But I bought a Kamado Joe, Big Joe 3, which is coming in right after Christmas, and it's all charcoal.
I don't
So both.
grill. Brian does.
I'm the grill man.
Yeah, I just eat what other people grill.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm into that. Miss French Toast asks, what were each of you like in high school? And what would your high school self think of you now?
I think I am exactly the same. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. I was just way over the top, funny, and just like plump.
Yeah, I was much skinnier. I didn't have a beard, and I was probably like a super nerd, but didn't quite know it. 'Cause
Whatever. Spirit King here says I was a nerd.
I wasn't part. There was like this like cool kid crew that I like wasn't who would like go and like drink on weekends in high school.
Spirit King,
I,
just so you know,
wasn't
is the
like
coolest person in school.
That.
Spirit
Yeah, they
King.
must be.
And that's Jeff.
I was I think I was a little dorky. I was not into high school. I didn't want anything to do with like extracurricular
you, like,
stuff. I
emo?
didn't want to get involved. I wasn't emo. Like I had friends. I was normal, but like
Emo kids are normal too.
but I mean like, I was just very like unassuming, whatever. But,
I think we're all the exact
but
same.
I think again, yes, I was skinnier. I was very skinny, and I was a lot more shy, a lot more quiet, and a lot less confident. I think like today, like I'm like with all like life experience and stuff.
Yeah,
you're just way more confident, and you have almost like less tolerance for things, and
I'm
all the
going to
normal
do
stuff
my
when you get
best
older.
to get a high school picture of the three of us, and I'll put like a side by side.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Story
look
up or
exactly.
post
the
See if people
same.
can guess
I can
who
show
it
you
is.
my senior
Yeah, see if we
picture,
can guess
and I'll
who's
look
who's
exactly
who.
the same.
People will guess I'm Natalie.
Dog powered vehicle wants to know what's your favorite breakfast food. I'm a French toast person.
I really like a good sausage link.
I love French toast. I also love like pancakes with like strawberries and whipped cream, like that kind of
I would
thing.
eat French toast.
Yeah,
if French toast
I
on
do
the
love
menu, I'm
French
getting French
toast.
toast.
Cool.
Favorite dog powered vehicle. Favorite non-swear word. Swear word.
Non-swear word, swear word.
Yeah.
Let's see. Frack is pretty good.
Frack.
Frack from what was that from?
Battlestar.
Battlestar, yeah.
Battlestar.
Yeah, I gotta say frack and a whole bunch of stuff.
Frack.
Non-swear swear
Frick.
word. You got one?
We'll all be a monkey's uncle. Son of
Yeah.
a biscuit.
Yeah,
I don't.
I feel
do
like
it.
I say
swear.
like
I know, I just
yeah,
kinda
exactly.
swear.
I just
I
say
swear.
fuck.
Sometimes I feel like this is weird, but sometimes I just say like "son of a beehole." I don't
Son
know
of a
why.
She
beehole.
does say that a
There you
lot. She does say that a
You're
lot.
just like, oh, jam it.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's a gross food that you like?
A gross
Other people
food.
think are
Oh, I got
A
a lot
gross
of those.
food that I like.
Like other people might think are gross, but
Yeah,
you like it.
yeah, I get it. I did that thing where you're like repeating it because
can I
you're
go
trying to
first?
think while you're saying. Yeah,
I
yeah. If
have
you got something, go ahead.
mushrooms and olives.
Ooh, I like olives a lot.
I love.
So if people hate
God,
olives, and
gross.
that might
Yeah,
be my
Ryan
answer.
hates
Yeah, it's got to be. I think olives are the most disgusting
Oh, they're
things
so
ever.
good.
I love them.
I would just eat
black
olives.
and
Yes,
green.
I do.
Yeah.
I buy
You like them
jars
both?
of them.
I
and
don't.
just
I don't
eat them
really
for-
want like pitted olives, like in Greek style. I don't want that, but like
Yeah, I
anything
don't mind
else.
those, but it's just more annoying because of the pit.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
one. Does it have to be? Is food? Can I be drink?
Sure.
I like eggnog. And
Yeah,
everyone
you're
hates
obsessed with
eggnog. We were on stream with Ben and Em, and someone in the comments was like, "Are you drinking eggnog?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they put the pukey
Yeah,
face, and I was
but-
like, "Oh."
Boards on tables. What games have you anticipated playing, but when you played it, you were really disappointed?
Oh yeah, okay, we got a bunch
That's-
of those. Okay, honestly, one for me, and it has stuck around because I want to give it another chance because I wanted it for so long. This is a game I wanted for ever because it was out of print. It was one of those like Grail games of mine, and then we played it, and I was like, I didn't really like this, and it's called
Yeah,
Ginkopolis.
I knew it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
One that I thought of was Sonora. I was like so pumped for
that's
that game.
You
I
know
was
what?
like,
That's a
gonna
great
be
answer.
so awesome. And then we were just like, oh man, I just want to like it so bad.
I'm gonna change my answer to Sonora.
Yeah.
It wasn't recent, but yeah, that game
Yeah,
definitely
that's
disappointed
true.
me.
It wasn't
I
that
feel like
recent.
that's one that I like when you said it. I was like, that's a perfect answer because we all were like, this is gonna be so cool,
Yeah,
flicking right,
so
how
hyped
fun,
on it.
Yeah.
and just boy did it
It fell very flat.
suck. I would say I'm trying to look at some of these things. Elder Sign, I was really disappointed when I played Elder Sign. I thought that was going to be really
Very
fun.
easy.
And that was kind of not fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ones that I'm like.
It happens a lot. I feel like it
That
happens
level
all the
7
time.
like, I
escape
wanna
was just
like
like was a miserable thing. That was
Which is
like
another
early
bummer.
on in my
That guy at
gaming
RAW really
career.
steered you wrong.
Yeah, he did. He blew it. Pandemic the
blew
Cure
it.
is something I never was like just miserable. The River was a recent one that I was like
That sucked.
That was going to be fun. Or even Tiny Towns. I was
or
I was
Planet.
excited
Oh,
for
yeah,
it. Planet.
Planet, I was like, I can't wait to play
seemed
Planet.
Really
Planet
cool,
sucked.
yeah.
Mason Pierce asked, "How many geese could we all fight off as a team?"
As a team, so the three of us fighting geese, I think we could fight off probably 50 or more.
What?
Yeah,
I was gonna say
is it like a round so that the 50 would just come at us at one and we just start fighting it?
There's no way we can fight off 50.
You don't think so?
No.
Do we get weapons?
I was gonna say, do we have weapons or no?
I don't know.
I
Right now it
just
says
imagine that
follow up.
we
What
have
if the
our
geese had guns?
Oh, zero.
Zero.
Zero. I think they take us
I
out.
feel like
We
a
have
goose would be a
guns?
great shot. Yeah, if we have weapons, then I think we could deal with 50.
Yeah,
If we had weapons, yeah.
Even just like give me like a golf club.
Yeah, right. Give me something to hit them
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I'm into that. Okay. Our buddy Nate says, when you see a game out of print at a local game store, is it an auto buy, and what factors into that decision?
No, absolutely not. If I see a game that is out of print, do I automatically buy it? No. I used to speculate and think that I was going to make money doing this. I used to see a game that was out of print, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to buy it and then sell it. And then I did that like once or twice. I didn't feel good about it, for one, because I'm marking it up when it's MSRP, at the store, and then other people could go get it, and I'm robbing them with that just to make money. And I just thought that was kind of sneaky. And then two, unless it's a game that I absolutely really want, I don't have the space to care that much.
Yeah. I think early on it might have been where you're like, I'm getting a collection. I have 20, 30 games, and it's like, oh, it's out of print. Maybe, let me just take it. But now, like when I'm borderline 300 games, I just don't. I wouldn't automatically buy it.
Yeah, especially for you. You're even worse because you get a bunch of games coming in
Yeah, that
from
I gotta
publishers.
get.
So
Games
you
gotta start
even have
going
less
out.
space than we do. So
Yeah.
no.
There are. If I see a game that I wanted that I know was out of print, I'd buy it right away. At the
Totally.
LGS.
If you wanted
For
it,
sure.
yes, I'm going to instantly auto buy.
Yeah,
it.
but if it's something that I was on the fence for, I still would stay on the
Yeah,
fence.
but just because it's out of print, no.
Yeah.
I've done that before, and it doesn't really. It just never works out the way you think it will.
all right, couple more. Mick says, "What is your biggest board game hobby regret?" So it could be board game / board game hobby regret. I have one. I'll start.
Okay, yeah.
You do?
I think that right away in the hobby, I wish, and this is going to be an Instagram inbox question later, is like, what would you go back and tell yourself when you first started the hobby? I think you don't need to own everything. Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay if other people own the games you like, if you're going to play it with them.
If you have a dedicated group or something,
I went through this thing where I bought, like Eric brought Alhambra one night and we played it and I was like, this is really
I wanna
good.
own that.
And then I bought it. And I'm like, well, what, why? And I wish I wouldn't have done that kind of stuff early on. It's just kind of been like, have your games. I also wish that I only had 50 games. I played a whole fuckload of times. You know what I
agree.
mean? Like you have that, but
Yeah.
that's not who I am.
regrets. Interesting. I don't know that I have any board gaming hobby regrets.
Other than probably just buying a game
I
that sucked and then,
I think maybe impulse buying so many things I could see as a regret, but also that's really fun to do. So I would say probably a regret so far is just not making the time to play the games that I have before buying a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, I almost said I don't have regrets, but I guess if I said something, it'd be, like not what you said, but playing the games I want to play, like just not making time. Like I have this play again list that's been sitting there for like a year and we haven't played any of them, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these little regrets. Just like little things. Like, I wish I would have bought that game. Like, what could I have done with that $50?
Yep, I agree. I have Descent over there. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have bought that.
damn
That's
it.
not really going to get played. Why did I do that?
Asymmetric Wizard, what are some Kickstarters that you have backed recently?
Ooh, yeah.
I have mine. I can talk about it right now.
Do it.
Well, so I'm right now on backing that gaming table.
Oh yeah,
This Kingmaker gaming
You're saying right now
table.
you think there's a chance you pull out?
I'm in. I have until the end of the month. I just wanted to get in on the early pledge. That level I can back out if I want to, but it seems like a deal that I can't beat. It's a lot of money, but game-wise, I have Weather Machine.
Yep, me too.
Vitalis 30 game.
Yep.
I have the game Oros. OROS.
Yeah,
that I
Oros,
backed.
I got that too.
Bantam West. I backed the On Mars expansion. The Carnegie Deluxe Edition is something I'm looking forward to.
when will that
Darwin's
go?
Journey.
Yep,
And that's kind of what I'm missing. Except I'm also missing the Shivers, which is like way past.
Yeah. We are getting some updates on that, though.
Yeah, we get updates a lot, but it still hasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, those would be my more recent ones. Darwin's Journey, Carnegie, the On Mars expansion, Bantam West, Oros, and Weather Machine.
So for me, ones that are currently still going is a game called Snack Time by Backfire Games. That's McKay from the Board Game Critic. Weather Machine, Jeff talked about from Vitel Lacerda. Also, I've been backing a lot of these small box games. The publisher is actually called Small Box Games. So think of the North. I just got the West in, and there's a new one out right now called Neolithic, Bronze Age, and the Middle Ages. There are three different little small box games. Yeah, no, the East.
No, it's Northwest.
I know the South.
You know.
Yeah, Kanye West. Yeah,
kid.
exactly. And there's a million games that I do not have yet that are still, but Paint the Roses just ended, which I have that coming, which I'm excited about. That the new Flat Out Games game Verdant.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That
Yep.
I'm excited about because Cascadia hit really hard.
Yep.
So I'm hoping
You've been
Verdant
on a roller
follows
coaster with that one.
Yeah, for sure. The first one we did not like, and second one we did. So the third one hopefully is good. So yeah, there's a
Natalie,
ton
what
of
have you been
Kickstarter
backing?
stuff coming up.
Whatever Ryan.
She's been backing her husband's
Gaming
play.
with Santana's wants to know if hot dog is a sandwich.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I'd say no.
I would say no.
I would say no, but if you want to get definition,
If you're going like crazy definition, I would never in a million years think of a hot dog as a sandwich. I just never would.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I would answer that way.
Swoozle, what actor or actress would play you in your upcoming biopic?
Let's see, who could I get to play me? Fat Mac. When Mac from It's Always Sunny was fat, that's who I want to play me. So he'd have to buff up again.
Does it have to be an
Bulk up.
actress?
Probably. What else?
Why do you want like Devin to play you?
Yeah.
No, I thought of like somebody, but yeah, never mind.
Oh, that girl you like from Pornhub?
No,
She's local and she's near
great.
you. I'm going to say Jason Bateman would play me in an upcoming
That's
biopic.
cool.
oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who would play me? Help me.
It had to be quick. He's getting old now.
Yeah.
What's that?
Who would play me?
Who would play you? Sarah Silverman?
What?
That's
No.
not-
What's wrong with Sarah
What's
Silverman?
wrong with Sarah Silverman?
You
You're
don't
not, is that like an inside joke you guys?
No.
No,
What?
that
That's
is
not a
very
bad-
surprising that you'd say that.
What about Tina Fey?
Yeah, Tina Fey. How about Tina Fey?
No.
What?
My God.
Selena Gomez? What do you want? What do you
Then you
want?
pick something. Don't ask us for
Yeah,
answers
what the
then.
fuck? This isn't insulting, by the way. Who do you want to play you?
I don't know.
If you could commission the game of your dreams, which designer would implement which mechanisms?
If you could the game of your dreams, which designer, which mechanisms?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
I know it's hard. Do I just be like?
So you
let's
just basically want a game by a designer?
do I want to take Suchi and Feld combined to make like a worker placement engine building game?
Okay.
That's what I would take maybe.
I'm gonna abstain on that one. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't, nothing's coming to mind.
I feel like whatever I'd say would already exist.
Yeah, like I just want I want another Vitel Lacerda worker
Right.
placement. But it's like that's
Yeah.
the way he designs.
You've got the opportunity to tell your 5-year-old self a single sentence. What is it?
5-year-old self?
Yeah.
Penis size doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
I'm going to say invest in Bitcoin.
That didn't exist when you were 5.
No, he's telling his 5-year-old self this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeff
like
of
he'll
right now
remember.
is going
I
back
see,
and
I
telling
see, I
5-year-old
see.
self this.
Ooh.
And Swoozle's last question, why does it hurt when I pee?
Why does it hurt when he pees?
Yeah.
Chlamydia.
It's got to be that.
I don't
Well, we also
know.
asked
I don't know
Natalie,
anything
what's your
about-
favorite word?
My favorite word?
My favorite word is fuck.
Yeah, fuck is so
Yeah, fuck
great.
is very satisfying.
Fuck is awesome to say.
Sorry, Natalie,
I
did
don't
I
know.
cut you off? What was
What do
your
I say?
Kind of like
Ryan?
onomatopoeia.
What do I say?
I don't know. Don't ask me because
or
when
what
I
was your
tell you, you
5-year-old
hate
self?
it.
I know.
You know what, Ryan? You know what's really
Sarah
funny?
Silverman and Tina Fey are both good answers
This
there.
is really random.
Let's hear it.
We were playing Obsession.
Aubrey Plaza. How about that? Will you be okay with Aubrey Plaza playing you? What? I know. Ew.
Fine. Yes.
Who do you want? I
I'm
thought
okay
you
with that.
loved that.
I'm okay with that. What was I gonna say?
attitude's right,
Oh
don't
yeah,
you
yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Obsession. We were playing Obsession, and one of the name of the tiles was Babbling Brook. And I was like, you say Babbling Brook all the time. And he's like, I've never said that in my life. And I'm like, yes, you have. You say
She's
it
got
a
the
lot.
spreadsheet. You said it 25
I
times.
know. No, I think this is like my combos. I think I've never
You think
said this.
so?
Like she's never had combos.
No, you've said it.
Babbling Brook?
Yes. Totally.
Maybe it's felt like Brooke Shield or something.
Maybe. I liked Brooke Shields back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, Brooke Shields
Yeah.
was okay.
That's it. It was a long one, but that's the inbox.
That was a great inbox.
for
I
answering
thought
some
that was
questions.
Yeah,
cool. That
that's
was cool. I
fun.
like doing those. I like
I
the
like
rapid
that
fire
too.
method as well. Keeps us on point because I can ramble. All right. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's Nook.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I want to take kind of a deep dive into worker.
Wait, I didn't get to drum roll. Let's go back. Go ahead.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I want to take a deep dive into worker placement.
Oh, the
I like
worker placement in this game is great.
Christmas Vacation is one of my favorite movies too.
Ooh, that's a
Christmas
great.
That's a good
Vacation
one.
and Home Alone are tied.
Yeah. Ooh, they're
Sorry,
tied.
just-
Wow, so it's that
Can
that
you
good.
cut that part out and put it back into the
Sure,
back?
I can do
just
it.
put back a few.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You know I'll do it too.
that is a really good. That's a good one. Okay. So first, what is worker placement? Well, in case you don't know, because you probably don't, since you're listening
You
to a board
stupid
game
idiots.
podcast.
You dumb fucking art.
In a worker placement, players control a pool of workers, usually in the form of meeples. Every round, players will take turns assigning their meeples to various locations on the board. Each spot corresponds to a different action, and usually there's a limited number of spaces for each meeple.
Yep.
That's just kind of the generic.
There's a little bit more I would add to it for like the pure definition.
Do it.
Also, usually in a classic worker placement spot, when you're placing your worker on a spot, that spot is not available for other people to place their workers on.
Blocked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of what it
you
said.
block. Did you say that already?
Yeah, it said there's a limited number of spaces for each meeple.
Is that what that meant?
Oh, I guess I assumed that meant like.
I don't know if that's what that meant, but
Okay, whatever.
either way, if it did, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Basically, you have a certain amount of workers, and you're placing them on spaces to get action, to take actions.
Right. And
That's
then by you
what a
doing
worker
it,
placement is.
I can't do it.
What do people call it?
Worker placement.
Worker placement.
Work replacement. Yeah, it's not. Is that what they call it? Wait, what did you say?
Who's they?
Who's they?
Sometimes people like mix up worker placement. They call it something wrong. What is it?
Who are you talking about? I think Brian is the only person I can think of that did this. Work replacement
Yeah.
that Heather Schwindeman said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a thing.
That's just one person.
No,
That's
there's been
that's
more
Brian's
people.
thing.
There's been more
Yeah, that's Brian's thing. Okay.
Okay, so anyways, that's what worker placement means. Some of the first games that had this mechanic, some of them are from like the 90s that I've never heard of, and then so they are games that are called Bus. One's called Burp.
I think Bus got
Bus is, reprinted.
reprinted,
I think
yeah.
Bus is a splatter.
it got work reprinted.
Is it a splatter, splallen,
Yeah.
a splatter
One
game?
is called Keydom.
Keydom.
Key
Okay.
to the
Right?
Kingdom?
And then I think it was 2005 was Kalis.
Kalis, baby.
Kalis.
That's the one I was
That's one of the
If you did
earliest
not say
ones.
Kalis, I'm
Yeah.
like, you got to talk about
That was
Kalis.
gonna come
I
up.
still
That is
said
like,
these other ones because technically they fall under that category, but they're like more like 90s. Kalis is
Yeah,
like
Splatter
more
is
of the
Bus.
current first hobby.
yeah,
game.
now
Kalis
you
is
can buy-
widely considered like the granddaddy of
Yeah.
worker
Now you
placement.
can buy
Yeah.
Baby's First Kalis if you want.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
And then just to give you examples, some of the most popular or highest ranked worker placement games are things like A Feast for Odin, Dune Imperium, Viticulture, Caverna, Agricola, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Barrage, Underwater Cities, and Anachrony.
There's so many games.
Some of
that
those
use
are
it.
barely or like new to that, like new.
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably
these
just
are
went off
like
the
in the
top
top,
one.
Yeah, right.
like
Yeah.
ranked
Still, those are
ones.
brand new.
Yeah.
games.
Well, that just
Yeah.
shows you that so a lot of, not a lot, but some mechanisms, they kind of go away. Like a lot of people aren't really doing like a ton of certain like auction mechanics in games. You don't see that a ton anymore. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like they don't do it as much. But worker placement has kind of it's just stayed. It hasn't gone
Yeah.
away. It's still
Well,
very popular.
Yes. And there's like so much you can do with it. So I kind of wanted to talk about, all three of us have said many times how much we love worker placement mechanic.
What? How do you
And
know?
I
Actually.
wanted to talk about
Spoiler.
what is it exactly that we like so much about it? Like, why are we drawn towards these games? What do we think is so great about it? I just wanted to, get into that. So for me, usually it's, a limited number of workers that you have to place out on the board to take actions. And so one of my favorite things is when you have to like try to do the best thing that you can do with what the limited things that you have. And that's kind of what these worker placement type games, force you to do. And that's a mechanic or, a thing that I enjoy in games. I also like that when you're playing worker placement, it's kind of more like you have to plan and it kind of, you can sometimes like have really exciting turns, because like in your head, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to place this here and get this. And then I'm going to place this here and do this. And, it can just contribute to potential turns where that stuff can happen. And then another thing I like about it is almost always in these type of games, even though you can potentially get in someone's way because maybe they take a spot that you wanted to take and now you can't take that spot, it never ever feels like attacky. It's like might sometimes be frustrating, like, darn, I can't go there now. I'm going to have to do something else, but it never feels like bad or that they're like messing with you. And so, it's almost like, again, what people don't like sometimes about these games is it's like a, what do they call it? Multiplayer solitaire. But I like that stuff. I like just like, I'm going to do my
own thing
to get as many points as I can get. And hopefully that's more points than you get doing your thing.
Idiot.
You forgot to name the Samurai Rebellion in the Fields when you were talking about like notable worker placement games. But that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
That's number one.
You missed it.
You really screwed up there.
What do you guys like about worker placement?
What do you want to go? You want me to go? What do you want to do?
Okay, I'll go.
Wag off a guy?
So I
clockwise.
like,
Yeah, that's all right.
I like a lot of the stuff that Natalie said. I wrote down things like being able to create plans. I like making those choices. Usually worker placement games limit randomness, not all the time and in all games, but it does because things are right there in front of you. You can create a plan.
You're
and
deciding
then your
what to
plan
take, yeah.
is up against the other person's plan. So a game like Kalis, I honestly think that the only randomness in that game is who starts, who's the first player. And that's really, really appealing to a lot of people who are like structure brain. This is what I'm going to do this all the time. Instead of like flip a card. Now I have to make a decision in the moment. You can sort of plan that stuff out, which I like both of them, but I like being able to plan things out, make those choices. I also am kind of enjoying how worker placement has like evolved into like special workers, like in viticulture. Now this worker means something different than your other workers, or the dice worker placement where now the pips matter, or in Coimbra, the color matters. So it kind of changes the idea of just place it here, get a resource, which was the Kalises and the Agricola and even the Feast for Odin right now. This changes it into one more layer. Now I place it here, and because it was orange, I get to, you know, in Magnificent, now I get to activate this certain track or something different. I like how these designers who are just way more brilliant than I am have taken this mechanism and kind of evolve it into a whole bunch of different things. So I love worker placement. It was also something that I wasn't drawn to right away. And I don't think many new gamers are going to be drawn to it right away.
Well, because randomness or lack of randomness is a very foreign concept to most most nons.
Yeah.
Because most mass market games are random.
Right.
They have a ton of randomness, and it's like, oh, it's fun.
Yeah, and they're fun and silly.
And then you see a game all of a sudden that's like, oh, I am responsible for everything that happens to me. And it's scary, and it can feel bad, because then you don't get that like, oh, ha, ha, ha. You get like, oh, I lost because you beat me.
Yeah.
You're better than me. Oh,
And
that's
like,
not good.
and if I'm going to play with a new gamer and I'm going to play Kalis, first of all, it's a bad choice. I'm going to destroy you in Kalis.
Right.
And that's not fun for either person. It's like playing tennis against a baby, right? Like you're just going to, that's not fun.
It's like I'm an 1800 chess level player, and I'm playing against like a 600.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that I like about worker placement is that if I don't do well or if I lose or something, it frustrates me when it's random, because I'm like, it's out of my
Your
control.
fault.
It's more like, well, I didn't play
I did this to
optimally.
myself. Yeah.
So like I feel like I can handle that better. Like, okay, well, it's my own fault. Or I did this wrong, or he did this better than me. Instead of just like, well, that's not fair. You rolled this and I rolled this, and so you win. Like, what? Like, there's nothing I can do about that. And so I like that part of it not having randomness and me being in control of all of like the action.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, I like a lot. So this is why I kind of was harping on like explicitly telling you that, okay, make sure that it's when you go there and now I can't go there, because that's one of my favorite distinguishing characteristics in what I consider like an actual worker placement game. Otherwise, it's just like action selection that everybody can just do, where I like that fact of, I don't know, I really like tactics. And so I think worker placement gives you the opportunity for long-term strategies like you guys both talked about, as well as tactical play. Because if I have a plan where I really need to get this 2 wood in the space here, and then if I do that, then I can take the spot that lets me build a building, and then on my 3rd turn I can activate that and do it.
Yeah.
But then the turn before it's supposed to happen, Jeff takes that 2 wood spot. Shit. Now I can't get the wood I need. How else do I do my plan? And that's like a tactical thing that I really like. Okay, now I'm forced to pivot. So I like having almost like you have to have like a
what's
plan
my new
B.
plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have like a plan B. Okay, if Jeff takes that, because I might not get everything I want. Jeff takes those wood. Okay, now what am I going to do? Now I guess I can get stone and try to build this building.
Right. Well, that's one of the best parts too. Is like if somebody takes a spot that you need or that's part of your plan, you're not just screwed. Like there's usually always another way to go or another thing to do, or you know what I mean? Like you said, you just got to pivot. You're not just like, okay, well that's ruined.
Yes. And I definitely do also enjoy like what Jeff said about how a lot of worker placement games tend to be random averse. Now, there are definitely exceptions to that, like Dune Imperium and Lost World
sure.
Varnak,
Yeah, it's
that
not-
are just more random now because of the deck building aspect and stuff like that. But it definitely does lend itself more to the type of games that, especially the 3 of us, enjoy, which are more low random, kind of high thinking kind of thing. And it just feels so. I'm kind of the opposite of what Natalie said about it. She likes like if she loses, it was my fault. I would never think about it that way personally. I never think about it that way. What I think about it is like the other way, where it's like if I win a game where there's like tons of randomness, I don't feel that. I don't feel much. It's like it's this little like quick like cool like haha I got the roll and you didn't. Okay, that's fun. But more what I like about a worker placement game or a game of this low randomness is more when I win because of that. The feeling is infinitely greater than in a game with more randomness. And so we're kind of getting off topic of worker placement, but a lot of worker placement games tend to be this way. An example here is like Zolkin. In Zolkin, that's one of the hardest games I've ever played personally. That game is smarter than me. I have won it one time. And that play that I won it, I felt like a king among, peasants in that game. It felt great. No, it was actually at a convention.
No, I was playing
It was
game.
a convention. Yeah. I have that paper still that says you
Yeah, it was
won
on
the
Michigan,
game or
one
something
of
like
our
that.
smaller conventions.
And it felt so good. I know Jeff can agree with me here because he loves that game, and I'm sure he wins that game frequently. And it just, what a great feeling when
love that
you
game.
have done stuff the right way. You're taking your workers off in a spot that's perfectly timed, and you enacted your plan to perfect, and then it pays off.
Right.
And man, is that feeling great. And that's a feeling that worker placement games, I think, pretty much give you over more games of different mechanisms and stuff like that. Like I can think of another very popular mechanism even in the Eurospace is like majority control or area majority or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't feel as good about myself when I sneak in and get that last majority because it almost
you're
feels
taking something from
you're kind of
someone
hurting
else
somebody
usually.
else,
Contract,
right?
yeah.
Mhm. And that doesn't feel as good as just a perfectly executed worker placement game that
Right.
you just like, ha, wow, that's great.
Right.
Not
And-
ha against
But
you.
there are people who are the complete opposite.
Yep, complete
Oh,
opposite.
complete
Like,
opposite. Well, another thing, like we maybe not Jeff as much, but maybe.
Damn.
But like I know like you and me like typically don't really care that much about theme and like worker placement. You don't usually get into theme in those
True.
types of games where a lot of people theme is a big deal to them, and so they
like
probably
foreshadowing.
tend to not like worker placement that much. True. Because the theme isn't as like crucial to the game.
For sure.
I agree. I think there's also some games if you don't like love worker placement or you love worker placement, your group doesn't. Maybe I'll give you a couple suggestions of like how to get your because there's all these gateway games, right? The Azules of the world, the Splendors, but there's also like gateway worker placement games that I feel
Absolutely.
like could be really good. Like Lords of Waterdeep comes to my mind all the time. That has a theme that you can kind of get into, especially if your group likes D&D or something like that, and you want to get them into different board games. That is a straight up worker placement space. Spots broken. You're getting resources, which are essentially your warriors, and then you're going on these missions. It's like classic, straightforward. Add the expansion if they like it, that kind of stuff. Stone Age is one of those older ones that's really basic. It's just like put it on there, get some stone,
And it's
get
like
some this.
classic worker
classic,
placement.
easy. Agricola is another one. If maybe that's a slight step up.
You can go Agricola, all creatures big and small, and
Yep,
get the same
you do
feel
that.
for a
That's
2-player only game.
I haven't played Champions of Midgard, but I know it's like a different theme, but similar.
I
has
hated
more
that
some
one.
Dice rolling, but yeah,
But no, a lot of people like that.
And then even like viticulture is one that I think, again, with theme, maybe like I don't care about the theme of wine, but it could be something. And it's
No,
put it
I
on
think
the
that's
spot.
a
I think
great
those are the-
suggestion because I think a lot of people, maybe who are nons, who might be adults that are getting into games like this, drink wine.
yeah,
And
Right.
so the theme can help them understand the gameplay.
yeah,
Right.
because you're making these different types of wine.
Or,
You
like,
go to the
That's a great
fields.
a
and
lot
those
of
things.
times too, if they're like, you know, if the theme is like monsters, they might be just like, that seems really like that's not my thing. But like if wine is their thing and it's like a similar game to like a monster game, but it's just wine, that
Monster
could
wine.
be. They're like,
Monster
okay, I'm
wine.
into that. Let's see what this is all about. Like,
So why has worker placement games stood the test of time? I really like the idea of you have a group of workers, and this represents resources. Typically, right? Workers
Yeah.
represent resources that you're going to acquire,
you have a finite.
and so I think it's really fun. Like the worker placement mechanism genre has hit this chord with people's brains because there's certain things about board games that people really seem to enjoy. One of those is this weird kind of stress that games can give
Yeah.
you. Stress is typically thought of as a bad thing. In a lot of worker placement games, because you don't know, is Jeff going to take that spot? That's the kind of stress a lot of people enjoy. That like you're on the edge of, I have this plan, and oh my God, if it works,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. But Natalie and Jeff are in front of me. Either of them could unwittingly mess with me.
Right.
And now, and it's almost like tantalizing.
yeah,
That key stress point, I think, is something people find so like titillating and tantalizing. I think a lot of people do. I think that's a
Yeah.
lot of like, and they love that because you have this workforce that you want to deploy this certain way, but oh my God, the other players could potentially mess with you, and oh, I hope they don't. But if they do, what else can I do? And I think worker placement gives you that feeling where a lot of other games just don't have that specific recipe for stress, which I'm
Right,
going to call
yeah.
stress. It's almost like there needs to be another word for it because, again, stress has negative connotations, but there's that stress level
tenseness.
that maybe tenseness is a better word.
Yeah.
That tenseness that's like juicy and brings you back time and again because you want to feel that level of, it's almost a thrill.
Yeah,
It's almost a
like
thrill
yeah.
of like, oh my God, you might not take it. And then they don't take it. And you're like, yes, I
Yeah.
can do it. Boom. And it's going to be so great. Or they take it and you're like, no, shit. Okay, well, let's see. Can I do something else? And then it can be more fun when you find that
Yeah.
hidden backup move
Yeah.
that you're like, oh, I'm kind of glad he took
Yeah.
that now. So now I can do that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's just as
happened
fun.
to me a bunch of times where like I think that I'm doing the best thing, and then somebody takes my spot, and then I have to pivot, and then it turns out the pivot part was better than the original, and I was like,
Yes.
sweet, that worked out.
So a lot of that for me revolves around that specific part of worker placement games, which is the blocking.
yeah,
I love that portion of those games because it feels bad when you get blocked.
Yeah.
Like, and that sucks. But it's also that same kind of thing that feels great
Yeah.
when they don't.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be there if that blocking wasn't involved. So
totally.
that's how I think.
Nice nook.
Yeah, I like that nook. That's a good nook. Do you have anything else you want to say to end up the nook?
No, I think that's it.
In the Discord, I would love to hear your reasons and thoughts on why you like worker placement, if you do, why you think it has stuck around as one of the key, if not maybe the most popular board game mechanism. It'd be really fun to hear your thoughts on that. So
I would also like to hear the
regale
opposite.
us.
If you hated worker
Yeah, what
placements,
is
tell
it
us
that you
why.
don't
yeah,
like?
What's
what do
your
you think is
frustration about
better?
it?
What board game mechanism do you feel is the best?
Right, because
board game
obviously all
mechanism?
three of us had only positive things to really say about it. So there's obviously another side to that.
Well, it's kind of like Jeff said earlier, like everything we love about it, other people might fucking hate it.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of it, I think you said earlier, with a lot of them are themeless. A lot of them are
Yeah.
just what do they say? The dry Euro, the same
Yeah,
old, whatever,
just another soulless
yeah,
Euro.
that
Jeez.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff, which I get. So that could be a big downside.
But see, another thing,
I'd
I
love to hear
do
other
feel like
people's
there's a
thoughts.
lot, like Anachrony or Lost Ruins of Arnak. These games have theme,
Yeah.
and they are
Yeah.
very,
And those
very
are newer, right?
good.
Those
Oh,
are not
right.
Yeah.
the
That's
Kaluses of
newer.
the world.
Right,
Those
which are
the newer
just
ones.
another soulless hero.
Yeah.
That's crazy awesome. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Okay, on today's game of the episode, we're doing something new,
Oh boy.
and I think it might only be for Jeff. And I apologize,
boy.
Natalie. Natalie, I want you to still
Participate.
participate
Okay.
if you can. Okay, And everyone at home, I want you to try to guess these before and after games, okay? That's the game today. So the way it works is like before and after on Wheel of Fortune, I'll read a clue, and the answer is going to be 2 games combined by 1 word. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Basically, the last word of one game will be the first word of the next game. I can't really give you an example because these were insanely difficult for me to come up with, which means this is like the only time we're going to
things
play
are
it like,
insanely
we'll
difficult.
just play it together, but you'll probably know more.
Yeah, like just be on a team, try to figure them out.
Okay.
The clues are not challenging. I did not make the clues challenging.
Sure.
It's just okay.
What games are you talking about?
Yeah, so Natalie, for instance, I think you'll be able to get this first one.
Okay.
I do.
Do this.
You ready?
Yeah.
Terra Mystica in space using polyomino tiles to fill up that space.
Gaia Project L.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gaia Project L. So that's the first one. I wish they were all that simple. They are not. All
Thanks
right.
for letting me get that simple.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Did you get that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's number 2. Lighter version of BGG's top game of all time, mixed with this bag builder designed by Johnny Pack.
The Jaws of the Lion, obviously.
Yeah. And then Lions of Lydia. So Jaws of the Lions of Lydia.
Jaws of the Lions of Lydia. Hooray! Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. of the. Okay. Number 3. 2-player version of this classic drafting game on the set of this 2-player Jurassic Park style game. I can read it again. You want to read it again?
Yeah.
2-player version of this classic card drafting game on the set of this 2-player Jurassic Park style game.
I think I got it.
Okay.
7 Wonders Dualosaur. Stulasaurus Rex.
Oh, you're very close.
What the fuck is that game called?
So what's
Dualosaur Park. I don't know what that.
Close.
It's the Dinosaur World 2-player thing. It's like Dualosaur Island.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it. You got
Okay.
it. 7 Wonders Dualosaur Island.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good. You got all the hard
what is
stuff.
that damn
You got all the hard
thing?
stuff.
Yeah.
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 I don't know why.
You got
Yeah.
the
You got the
connector. You got the connector.
Yeah.
Okay. Suki it to me, babies, best while building a metropolis together as a team.
Underwater cities.
Yeah.
Building a metropolis as a
I don't think you're going to know this game, Natalie.
underwater
Maybe.
cities.
Yeah, city. So the first word of the next thing will be
Cities.
cities.
Suki it to me, babies, best while building a metropolis together as a team. There's a chance Jeff doesn't know this game, but I'm pretty sure he does.
City. I know.
It has to be cities.
It's hard to know
probably.
that. Yeah, it has to be cities.
Right. City for the city. Do you at home know this one? Suki
Come
it to
back
me,
here.
babies, best while building a metropolis together as a team. All right, number 5. Space game about playing cards with crazy iconography on top of delivering goods in space with crazy ship destruction.
What?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Space game about playing cards with crazy iconography on top of delivering goods in space with crazy ship destruction.
The last one's Galaxy Trucker, and say the first one again.
Space game about playing cards with crazy iconography on top of delivering
Something like Roll
goods.
for the Galaxy?
That's probably is it. Roll for the Galaxy
What?
Trucker.
Very close.
Race for the Galaxy
Race for the
Trucker.
Galaxy Trucker. Yes,
Nice.
race for the Galaxy
Yeah.
Trucker. Very good, very good, very good. How are you all doing at home? I can't hear you, but tell me you're doing great. Okay, number 6. Picking a number and rolling it while you're drafting tiles to arrange in an exact 5x5 grid.
Wait.
Key to the Kingdom. And then I didn't hear the last one.
Okay. Picking a number and rolling it while you're drafting tiles to arrange in an exact 5x5 grid.
Oh, Key to the Kingdom Domino. King Domino. Key to the King Domino.
Yes.
Oh,
Key to the King Domino.
Okay, yeah.
Key to the King Domino. Very
Key to the
good.
King Domino.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Number 7. Are you finding that you're at least participating, Natalie? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Number 7. Richard Brees auction game with cards being dropped from on high to make a garden. Let me try that again. Richard Brees auction game with cards being dropped from on high to make a garden.
From on
Damn.
high?
It's like a little game where you're dropping, like you're literally dropping cards. It's called like Fall. No,
Oh,
it's like Flower Fall or something.
Okay.
yeah. So it starts with flower.
Richard
So then
Brees
is it
auction
like-
game with cards being
Is
dropped
it
on
Key Flower Fall?
Key Flower
Oh,
Fall.
okay.
Good. Yes,
All right.
good. You know, it's funny that I was surprised that you
But I
got
the
Flower
other
Fall
one. I
before
know.
Key Flower. Yeah.
I honestly, you got about 3 words in, and I was like, "Fuck, I didn't listen to
What did he say?
Yeah. Well, because you like trying to
Let me see if I
doodle
can
it
get
out
the
while
other-
we're
Yeah,
still
I know.
talking.
I know.
Yeah.
No, you did great. Okay, number 8.
two-player polyomino buttoning up to a very popular gaming mechanism?
Patchwork.
Your Nook. That's what your Nook was about.
Patchwork replacement?
Yes,
Yeah.
patchwork
it's not-
replacement.
okay.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. You got that right away.
Yeah.
That's
well,
nice.
Yeah, well,
He was like,
the
boom.
buttoning was like patchwork.
Yeah.
all
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 9. The original Crime is Popular game we used to love, mixed with your favorite Crime is Popular game. You got to say the whole thing. I'll do it again. The original
Yeah.
Crime is Popular game we used to love, mixed with Jeff's favorite Crime is Popular game.
So Chronicles of Crime, and Detective, a modern crime, but that's board game. It's my favorite one. What's the original? Oh, Sherlock Holmes, Detective, a modern crime board game.
Very close, but yeah, that's
Okay.
it. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective,
Yeah.
a modern
Okay.
crime board game.
Yeah.
right.
Very good, very good. And the last one, before we go backward to try to get the other one.
Yeah, the underwater.
Number 10, number 10.
Right.
Maybe the first flip and right game taking on the game with components you can use underwater.
Okay. First flipping right game.
Maybe the first flip and right game taking on the game with components you can use underwater.
Components you can use underwater.
I feel like I know that.
You do.
Components
You should know this one, I think, Natalie. This is another one you can get it.
First flip and
The
right.
first
Tell us the
That
first
sounds
flip and
so
right
familiar. The components you can use underwater.
What components can you use underwater for no damn reason? There's no reason you should be able to use these components underwater, but you can if you want to.
Oh,
You
God.
guys should
Yes.
play this game.
No, I know what you're talking about.
She knows it. Okay,
You know it.
It's
maybe
like-
the first flip and right game.
Too many bones.
Okay, so maybe the first flip and right game taking on the game with components you can use
So
underwater.
it starts with, it ends with 2.
2.
That's a flip and right.
Damn.
What do you think the first flip and right was? We had a lot of roll and rights, and then this flip and right game came out, and it was like, oh man, you can do this mechanism too with cards.
Welcome to Many Bones.
Hey, welcome to Many Bones.
That was a team.
Very, very,
Yeah,
very
that was
good.
good.
And the one that you need to get
got the
still
Underwater
is
Cities one, right?
Suki It To Me Baby's Best while building a metropolis together as a team.
You don't think I know this?
I'm almost 100% positive you never heard of this.
Okay.
I know for a fact Jeff has heard of this. I don't know if he's going to... Like, Jeff knows this game. I just don't know
He
if...
knows of the game.
City. So cities. Underwater cities. There's that mega city Oceania. That's not it.
But you're right,
You are
that is a
building
game.
a cool thing. What are you building together in a big metropolis?
I don't know why I'm thinking Ryan says I know.
I don't think you're going to Like, I'm going to say it,
I'm,
you're going
like,
to be like,
pretending to, like,
I'll say the
think
game, and
of
you're going to be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cities. What's a cities game? Cities. Sometimes you think you're just gonna
Yep,
say
just
it.
going to say it.
Is it like cities colon something?
I don't...
Cities colon
Let me
something.
see. It might just be... It's just two... I'll say this. 2 words.
Okay. Cities.
It probably is colon. Let's see.
Cities colon. Cities. Cities colon. Don't look. Cities colon.
It is cities colon blank.
Cities colon blank.
Cooperatively build a city meeting the needs of the population and your budget. Budget. Released in 2019.
Whoa, it's new. Fuck. Should know it. Cities.
You might not think of it, and then when I tell it to you, you'll be like, oh yeah.
It's just called cities.
Yeah.
The game's just called cities.
Cities.
Blah.
The cities.
Cities. The cities.
Cities.
Very close.
Underwater.
Do you think anyone's at home yelling at
Cities.
the radio?
Probably.
Probably
Oh.
10 people.
I wonder.
But then
Maybe
not,
not.
not acknowledging that we got other ones faster than they think that we're
Yeah.
So shut up. Shut up. Okay? We got other ones very fast. I bet we got them before you did, okay? So you can shut up in your stupid car.
Jeff got patchwork replacement before I was even done reading the sentence.
Gosh, do we own it? Do you own
No. I looked and you don't own it.
it? Ooh, I don't.
I thought you did, but I looked and you don't.
Or I have yet to update a board game.
Yeah, but I'm...
You are
You would-
to give up.
If you owned it, I feel like you would.
All right, so here we go. Suki
Yeah.
To Me Baby's Best while building a metropolis together as a team is Underwater Cities Skylines.
Ah, damn. I know that.
You knew that one, right?
Yeah.
You would never have known
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
I knew Jeff did.
City Skylines. Yeah, I kind of want to play that game.
Yeah, right. Looks
Yeah,
cool.
it looks very
I know.
cool.
It looks cool.
I think you're like building it.
And it's
Goes
and
up,
I know
like-
it's co-op.
like
Yeah, it's co-op.
three-dimensional.
So yeah, it looks very fun. Good job. I thought you guys did very good at that. So you didn't mind it, Natalie, even though
I didn't mind it. No.
okay, I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind
I would
it.
love to do that one more. It was
Yeah.
really,
It seems really difficult.
hard for me. I assumed it would be
was.
easier. Yeah, all the games end in shit like
Yeah.
Arnak,
Oh.
or Zulkin or Alma Mater or Tigris and Euphrates. I'm like, those aren't beginning words.
Yeah.
Somebody recently, I forget who, mentioned something about playing another describe the box cover, so that if you ever need
Oh, they liked that?
you
You're
ever
saying
need
someone
an
liked that?
easy one, because you just got to think of box covers or games.
People enjoyed that, you're saying?
Yeah.
Someone that you said?
Somebody
Very
mentioned
cool.
like you doing that one again.
Okay. Well, we talked a little bit about theme a little earlier, and do we care about it or do we not? The three of us kind of maybe don't care about it as much as other people do, but we'll never know. So, we're doing our top 5 games that have a theme that you just don't really care about. Okay. We're going to go.
My whole list.
We're going to go Jeff,
Oh, boy.
me, Natalie this time. We're going to end with
Good call.
Natalie.
Let's end with
So, Jeff, whenever you're ready, you can preamble away, do whatever you want. Start with number 5.
Okay, this whole list could be just full of soulless Euros,
Yeah, Jace's.
right? Which are games that I love, but I
Yeah.
don't really feel like I'm doing what the game is thinking that I'm
Exactly.
doing.
Right.
My number 5 is a cop-out, and it's most Uwe Rosenberg's games.
I have a cop out on my list too, so I'm totally cool with that.
Games like Cottage Garden, Indian Summer, that other one, no one feels like they're fucking gardening. That's
All the
not
fun of
No,
17th
gardening.
century
you're right.
farmers.
Even patchwork to an extent, like, yeah, it's cute quilts.
Yeah, but you don't feel like you're making a quilt.
No.
And like I think that some of the other games like Agricola and Hallertau, they make the resources shaped like something, so it makes you feel like, oh
You're
look, I have
using
sheep
that,
and I
yeah.
have a cow and I have a thing. But really, you in your brain, I don't believe that you're actually thinking of those as that,
No, it
or
could
you're
have been a
not
cube, and
pretending
it's the
you're a
same.
farmer.
Yeah.
But great games.
Great games,
Incredible
they're all
games.
amazing, and I love them. And some of them are my all-time favorite, but. The theme I don't really care about. When he comes out with a game, I'm playing it because his name is on it, not because of the theme that was attached to it.
Right.
Uwe Rosenberg.
Very good. Number
Baby
5 for me, a cop out as well, and it is Stefan Feldkondom games.
Hey, that was my other cop-out.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we talk about Castles Burgundy all the time. Like, you don't feel like you're building a burrow in the, or whatever the heck it is that you're supposed to actually be doing. Same with Trajan. What is the theme of Trajan?
Oh, I wrote it down. It's like influence in Roman era, because this was going to be one. I'll move mine, but like
Okay.
you're supposed to influencing areas of the Roman like empire, and those are the different areas of
Yeah,
the board.
I would
Okay.
never-
You don't feel that way.
No, I'm
right?
just
You're
moving.
playing
I'm just
the
moving
mini-games.
cylinders around in a circle.
I always describe it as just like here's a bunch of mini games.
Yeah.
Not like you're influencing these
Right.
different areas. No.
So
here
every
you play tiles. Here you move
I don't
your
know.
guy. Here
I
you
mean,
do this.
there's so many Feld games out there. Even Amerigo, which is kind of a little bit more thematic. I still just feel like I'm putting polyomino tiles onto a piece of
And here are some
the board.
cubes and why? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
move
just
here
like, okay,
because
there's a
it's the best
ship I'm
move.
putting around, but yeah, still, there's so Stefan Feld condom games for me is my number 5, which is my cop out. Natalie, what about you?
I'm so sorry.
Oh boy. Yay.
Twister.
Yeah. Scrabble.
Yeah,
Stupid
what
words.
did you
What do you think
do?
I am? An
What did
author?
you do,
So
Natalie?
I took this as
Oh my god.
as games with themes that I don't care about. But I didn't really like any of the games either. I just also hate their
This is a
theme.
list of games you
This is
fucking
just
hate.
games you don't like the theme of, and you don't like the
You hate.
gameplay.
The
And
games
I
Natalie
thought
hates.
that it was just like 2 that I didn't actually like the game, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, I like the whole list is basically.
I can't
games.
wait to hear the list of games
So
Natalie
I
hates.
God.
crossed one out. So I'll make my number 1 a game I
No,
actually
no.
do like.
We're starting with number 5.
I know, but
Usually.
just so you know.
Oh, you're crossing out
2
number
through
1.
Oh, you
5.
always go after.
Okay, it's not that I don't. Okay, whatever.
All right,
Number
let's hear it.
5 is chess.
What?
Listen, I don't feel like I'm fucking royalty in this game.
Exactly.
Moving around knights and
Kings
pawns.
and queens.
I don't feel like
and,
that.
You know, if I kill the queen, I don't feel like I
don't
actually
feel like I'm
killed
actually-
the queen. You know, and my knight and my pawns are not protecting
Yeah.
me. You know,
I don't feel I'm actually checking your mate.
I don't know that chess is trying to make you feel that way. The game is
Great
an
answer.
abstract
Great
game.
answer.
Well,
Is
like,
your number 4
When the original
checkers?
people made chess, they're like, all right, here's our theme.
Here.
This is going to get people to love this game. One of the pieces will be a horsey.
well, see,
But
checkers,
it's gonna be nighttime.
We'll call this
So
one
we'll
the
call-
Queen.
Checkers is an
night.
example of
Knights ride
one-
horses.
checkers doesn't have a theme. You know, they're just circles on squares. But chess,
So checkers,
Oh, man.
checkers
they
is
have a
not your
theme.
number. That's because they just needed to make them different because they move differently.
Oh,
Good
my
answer.
God. All right. All right, Jeff, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a game called Praga Kaput Regni.
Ah, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Suki it to me, baby.
Where the theme is wealthy citizens organize building projects in Prague.
No, it's just cool artwork and fun mechanisms.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Because when I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm putting a tile here because it gets me the most points.
Yes.
The tile goes here to get me a different action.
Yes.
My worker, I'm taking this because that's the action I want to do.
Yes.
Not organizing the building projects. And I totally understand that these games need some theme. And I think that sometimes in these games, the theme leads into like cool artwork. Or that's how they're going to steer the art.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not like pasting a theme on it. I think sometimes it's pasting the artwork on it to
Yeah.
get it attractive,
Right.
and then the theme's just going to kind of go along with it.
Right.
But some of these designers, like Suki Itumi and
Yep.
Uwe Rosenberg and Stefan Feld, they're like amazing mechanisms
Yeah.
and gameplay, and that's what I
Designers, yeah.
like want in those games.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I
Buy
care about.
them.
That's what gives you the most of the feels for us, anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 4 for me, great answer, is a game we just reviewed today on the podcast. Now, this theme is integrated very well,
Yeah, it is.
but I don't care about the theme of Obsession. I wish it was a different theme. Again, it's integrated well, and so I really want to hit that home to know that, like, because what is the word? I admire that about the game. The stuff that you're doing, like when you're playing this particular tile, like, oh, that's cool that actually makes sense with what it's doing.
Right.
But it does nothing for me. I don't care. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, I would play it and have exactly the same amount of fun.
You just want
'Cause
to
I
go
don't
to
care.
that party. You just don't care about.
Yeah,
the
I don't care
You
about
want to go
the-
there and find all your mates.
Yeah, right. It could be. I just want to bang anybody I can.
Obsession
bang.
was the first name. Orgy was the second.
Orgy. Yeah, Obsession.
What if the game was
orgy.
just orgy?
Yeah.
You have to go to this orgy party.
Obsession, cool.
Maybe that's our next board game.
Yeah,
We're gonna have
key
to cut
party.
this out because we don't need you taking our
Yeah,
idea.
quit taking our idea. Yeah, so I don't give a crap about the theme and Obsession at all, but the game is Chef's Kiss.
Good one.
Yeah. All right, Natalie, what's your number 4? Oh no.
Checkers.
Pretty sure we played this game.
Candyland. I don't care about Candyland.
As everyone in my family knows, I do not like Lord of the Rings. So I picked Lord of the Rings, Hunt for the Ring.
Okay,
That's-
we haven't even played that.
We haven't? Okay, when I told
But that's
Jeff
not a
last
bad.
night.
Okay, that's not a bad answer because if you don't like Lord of the Rings, you obviously don't give a shit about the theme of
Okay,
any Lord of the Rings
stop.
game.
We haven't even played the game.
But if you like the
Listen,
game,
there is a Lord of
never
the
even
Rings
played
game
the
that we
you
did
played
play.
Journey to Middle Earth.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you meant?
I know what you
That's what I
played.
meant.
that what you
I told
meant?
Jeff this last night. I was like, I have this game, and I was like, I don't know if it's the right name. I was like, but Ryan will correct me because I know we've played
Yeah.
one with this theme. I just didn't remember. Like, okay, I changed it. Lord of the Rings: Journey to Middle Earth.
Okay.
That's a good answer because you like the game, but you could you
Did you though?
No,
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't think she liked the game. Yeah.
I told
Alright.
you 2 through 5. I didn't really like it, but I hate the theme.
At least you're more on point with there than
Yeah, closer than chess.
fucking ridiculous. I think. It's awesome, but it's
Awesome.
ridiculous. All right, John, what's your number 3?
Yeah, it's always me. I always forget. I go after Natalie. I'm gonna say my number 3 is a game called Dune Imperium.
Nice.
I loved my first play of it. Thought it was great. I don't give a shit about
Yeah,
Dune.
like what was the
Dune.
theme?
Like
Yeah, it's Dune, but-
I don't know anything about the books. I don't know
Yeah,
anything about
same
this
here.
weird spice stuff. I don't know
Right.
anything about the movie or the upcoming
Yeah,
movie
so
or the
the
6
houses
other
did
games that
nothing
were
for
played
you.
or the other games that came out earlier. I don't know anything about that. The
But
game
you like
itself was just like solid.
That's a
Again, it
good
could be
one.
pasted with other things.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Nice.
Dune
I
agree
Imperium,
with that.
Dune game, book, anything.
Nice.
The game is
very good. That's a very good one. Number 3 for me is what? It's my turn.
I know. I'm just laughing.
She's laughing at her next number.
I just
Our
read
next
Hunt for
one?
the Ring again and was laughing because you're like, we didn't even play
We
it.
didn't even play
God,
that.
Hunt for the. Yeah, but it's Lord of the Rings. I don't care. Number 3 for me is Richard Brees auction game called Keyflower.
Ooh, yeah.
Keyflower. Incredible
What is the
game.
theme for that?
What?
What is the
You're
theme?
developing your own little city.
Yeah, it's
and-
like a city building game. There's boats that come in and give you all your people and
I was
stuff
thinking
like
about
that.
sailing
Key
to
Flow,
your
and I'm like,
area.
what's the theme? I think it's just
Yeah,
like,
well, that's the
it's
thing.
fun
That's
to
the
play.
kind of the point. You don't really know or
Yeah.
care. All you care about is this smattering of mechanisms that makes this really awesome experience.
Yeah.
But the theme could be anything, and I would not give a flying F.
Yeah.
As long as it wasn't trains, I'm okay. For some reason, Jeff and I agree on that. And I think Natalie too. If it has trains, I
Yeah.
just like it less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Natalie, what's your number 3?
My number 3
Oh boy.
games such as
Such as-
Cthulhu Death May Die.
Ooh,
Okay.
you love that game.
I wouldn't say love, but I do like
really
this-
love. Wow, she likes it
I
even
do
more.
Really
like
love.
this game, but just in general,
Like,
you know,
like really
I don't
like.
really care at all about Monsters, Cthulhu.
Agreed.
That
I'm with
kind
you
of
though.
stuff.
Cthulhu theme does not much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the theme for me does, but I do like that like dark haunted sort of theme. So that's why I kind of left those off my list. Is I would rather play a game with that theme in that setting, that type of game, than a lot of other things. But good answer. Again,
Good answer. That was a good one. All right, Jeff, number 2, man.
My number 2 is a game called Trois.
Toi. I thought about putting that on
Amazing game. The theme of this game is players recreate 4 centuries of history in Champagne, France.
there. What?
Yep, you manage dice, which is your population apparently, in these different categories of religion, military, and civilization, which would be the 3 different colors apparently.
Yep, military's
Right, of
red,
course.
civilization's yellow.
Yeah, and the other one's
White.
Yep,
Yep,
that's
cool.
it.
That's
got
it.
it.
But
Got it.
again,
Nailed it.
no
Theme.
idea. I have
Tons of
cards.
theme.
I play them here. I pick the dice. I
Nope.
buy them from you. I move them around.
It's kind of a cool castle on the outside. You can move your ladies of Twi around.
Yeah, those ladies
Other than
just
that,
run around the
yeah,
end.
who knows?
But yeah, that theme
Great pick.
is meaningless to me. But man, the game is so good.
Yeah, great one. Number 2 for me is very similar to Trois in terms of like what, and it's Orléans.
Yeah.
Orléans again. I don't know what I'm doing. It's you're just moving around, trying to establish things in little spots on the board. You're pulling out guys that you never call them by what they actually are, and then they just activate certain things. And who cares? It's great. That game could have no theme to it at all. It could be abstract, and I think I would have a great time, the same great time with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's my number 2, Orléans. Natalie, what was your number 2?
My number 2, and I think you're gonna like this.
Oh boy,
I think you're gonna
like
agree.
this.
with
We'll
it,
see.
Is Rococo.
Yeah, I almost put that on mine.
Good one.
Because
I almost put that on mine.
what is it about? Like making
Making
clothes,
dresses.
old-fashioned clothes.
Yeah.
it's just like the stupidest, ugliest
Yeah, it's very
Blah.
weird.
There's a newer. What's the
theme. I mean,
It's maybe not. It's maybe a little newer than Rococo. But what's the other fashion design game by Ignacy or his company? You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I sure do.
no.
It's got that like
2
fashion
words.
model on the front. Damn.
Look it up.
Anyway, but sometimes those like fashion design themes are for like almost a
Yeah.
specific group of people, maybe to pull people in.
because it's not
Some
even
people
like
don't give a shit about
like
it.
fashion that's like current or like desirable. It's like fashion that's like you see
Pret-a-porter.
TV shows
Pret-a-porter, good.
with this type of fashion that's like in Rococo, and you're just like, ooh, what are they wearing?
Yeah, sure.
and it's like that's what it's based on.
Yeah, I mean, generally when this game's talked about by people who love the game, they're always like, "Don't worry about the theme. The theme's gonna make you seem like you're gonna. The theme's gonna make you seem like
The
you're just
theme,
not
theme,
gonna
theme,
like this
theme.
game." But I swear, check out this game. It's fascinating, and I love it. What's the Suffer and Succotash?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one. All right, Jeff, we've come to number 1, man.
My number
told
1
you you'd like
is a game called
right.
Lorenzo Il Magnifico.
Il Magnifico.
Oh yeah.
The theme of that game, did you know?
Good one.
No.
You're head of a noble
No
family.
clue.
You're the head of a noble family, and you're
Okay.
sending your family members to these different areas of the city.
Okay.
And that's where you place then your pegs for the dice. So like
Interesting.
each peg that you have, or it's a little.
All your games
thing,
are
yeah.
like those 4 cubes.
I know. Well, I kind of stared at them while I was making them. But yeah, I don't feel that as I'm doing anything while
that's
I'm
a
playing
good
that,
one.
and I don't think about it. There are some games that I do think about theme, or that at least come across, like Underwater Cities. I'm like, okay,
Agreed.
I have that board sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
Usually space games, I feel like, okay, there's
Yeah.
like some theme there with
Right.
the art or with something like
And
that.
even those ones, like whether the theme is like integrated well or not, it's just a generally pleasing theme. Like underwater, who doesn't like fish and underwater stuff
Yeah.
in the ocean?
Yeah,
you
who
know
doesn't
what I
like
mean?
fish?
But some of these like Euros, they're just like, what? Like,
Yeah,
would
why
anyone
trading
be
in the
interested
Mediterranean? Who
that?
wants
Yeah.
to? Who wanted that game?
Right.
Fantastic choice. Number 1 for me is a game. Let's see if you can figure it out from the description. These players act as traders, trying to get victory points for building a network of offices, controlling cities, bonus markers when other traders use the cities they control. After controlling a line between 2 cities with your pawns, you can decide to build an office
Hansa Teutonica.
or to Hansa Teutonica. Wow, you guys knew it from the theme.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Jeff pointed at it. That's
Hansa
how I knew it.
Teutonica. What the?
Or we started to connect
Yeah.
the cities or something.
I would never in a million years. All I know is it's a map and there's some buildings and you're just trying to put cubes on it. It is definitely a cube pushing just another soulless Euro that I love more. I love it so freaking much, but there's no fucking theme.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You don't care about the damn theme. You just have connect the dots with cubes.
Yeah.
Natalie, number 1.
My number 1 is
Drum roll.
Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall.
Good
That
one.
was that. I almost put that on there
Because
too.
I don't even know what the theme is, and I don't care. All I care about is I check this box so I can check this box and do this and this and this. I don't care what they actually mean or what I'm doing.
It's like you're working to like build up your wall to protect yourself from the picked army who's coming in to get you or something.
Who cares? That's not the fun part. The fun part is checking all the boxes.
Agreed.
And sometimes there's just games like we talked about Project L last episode or 2 episodes ago, where it's like
I don't even want.
They just embrace a no theme, a nothing.
Yes.
It's like good for them. But in a heavier game, that's like if that game was a 2-hour game, you'd be like, okay, maybe there needs to be something.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right.
Even if it's nothing, even if it's useless or whatever, at least there might be something. Throw a flavor text in there.
In that game, the component quality is almost they substituted that for the theme.
It's almost like the look of it is the theme.
Yeah, it's the theme.
You got any honorable?
Exactly. Again, this is like the 4th episode in a row. I just went 5 and stopped.
Oh.
I had some like. So Twa was one I had as backup in case you picked one of mine. Yeah, there was another one that you guys both said, or one of you said. I had Coimbra was one that I was gonna like jump in on
for sure. Yeah, because you're like in Portugal doing something with something.
Who knows? You got cool dice drafting.
Yeah.
I also thought Lisboa.
Oh, that one's like
the theme.
Oh man, yeah, it's about rebuilding the city of Lisbon after the earthquakes. It's like it's really in there, but I mean, maybe on the first
Natalie
play,
doesn't give a shit.
Natalie doesn't fucking
Also,
care.
Twilight Struggle.
Wow, really? Okay, I wouldn't think that.
And
that's like all.
Yeah, that's like straight up Cold War.
Definitely Silk, but I don't like that game either. So like Castle of Burgundy.
Checkers.
Yeah, Castle of Burgundy.
Yeah, Burgundy's always that one that we always come back to.
What did we say?
Yeah.
We were like, we were talking last night, and we were like, Twister. That is a terrible theme. Just a bunch of dots.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Colored dots.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Goa was on my list.
Ooh, that's a good
yeah.
one. Goa's good.
Specifically in this Feld range was Trajan and Carpe Diem of like, I don't really know what I'm doing in
What's
Carpe Diem.
happening?
I'm just like
You're just building some cities. You're building some
down.
buildings. I don't know.
But yeah, a lot of them ends up being that those Euro games that just kind of like need a theme, so they just put one on there. Right. But I also look at like my list of favorite games, and a lot of them in my top 10, I do care about the theme, or at least I enjoy the theme.
Off-putting or anything. Yeah.
Like even Trismegistus, where it's like I don't like science or that kind of shit, like experimental stuff, but it's cool in the game, in the moment.
Stuff like that helps.
Yeah,
Underwater Cities specifically, it really helps that it's themed and art and the stylized the way it is for me.
Right.
It makes me like it more.
Or like Teotihuacan, where you're like actually building a pyramid.
Yeah, it makes you like the
has,
game
like, the
so much
graphics.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or even like Terraforming Mars. I feel like you like the game more because you're in space and you're trying to make this planet. It's like it's a really cool integration, and a lot of games just that you like a lot just don't have that crap.
Yep.
Wow. I wonder if people who are from Europe and kind of live in the areas of a lot of these historical things, if they enjoy that theme
I'm
more.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Let us know.
Yeah.
If you live in Portugal, is Coimbra a better game?
Because like, would we care more about like American history type games?
You just said you hated Twilight Struggle.
Yeah, right. That's specifically the Cold War.
What about Watergate? You like Watergate?
I do.
I wonder if Watergate.
You like it because of the theme?
I like the theme of it because I find that general part of history interesting.
I wonder if that is less, for the opposite part of the question, is that less intriguing for people who have no idea?
Who are not.
Right.
Yeah.
About the scandals?
Right, yeah. Does somebody in Europe give a shit about Watergate?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Let us know,
maybe though.
Europeans.
But maybe.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Jim,
Osgore,
And
Swoozle.
and Osgore.
Anybody else that we're forgetting? Board Gamers UK.
Is
Game
Ando-
Malta, Board Game Malta.
Board Game Malta.
Or is that
Is Ando Osgore?
No, Ando's different.
I'm just
okay,
They're
I thought
different
it,
people.
I thought
Yeah.
it was Ando's
Yep,
different,
for sure.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody. Because I had to replug the mics. Okay, sound check, 1, 2, 3.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3.
Sound check, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, God. She went backwards.